All right. Welcome everybody back. After a brief hiatus, you could say, to the adult table. I, of course, am Trav, and here with the one, the only, the magnificent, the extremely vascular, the vanilla gorilla himself, Mr. Joey Fats.
What is happening? It's good to be back, Trav.
It is. It
I'm
is.
glad we're back because you know what? I missed this. And there's so much went on over the last couple of weeks while we were off.
Yep.
And of course, it always seems like the funnest shit ever to talk about happens when you like have scheduled time off.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's exactly what happened. Like who had a CEO getting like assassinated right outside of his office building at 7 a.m. in New York City by like a John Wick-esque hitman on their bingo card for that week. No, not me.
yeah, not me for the week, not for the year, but stranger things have happened.
They
But I
certainly
think
have.
it was good timing because the last episode we did, which was a blast, we didn't really have much to talk about other than our own personal stuff, like just random shit, and it was a
Yeah.
blast. But yeah, it was a little difficult to not talk about stuff that was current given the current time. Uh, Granted, I think it was still a great episode. Uh,
Oh, there's no such thing as a bad episode on the adult table.
no, and if you believe so, then you're a fucking idiot.
Well, then there's the fucking door, Chief. Don't let it slap you in your tits on the way out.
Yeah, go have fun hanging out outside there with Jim McGonigal.
Yeah. Go enjoy your seat in the cuck booth.
Exactly. Straight up booth now.
Yeah. It's a booth. It's got a couch and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So many people, so many cucks,
Oh, it's
so
a
much
lazy
seating.
boy. It's a quality armchair.
They just took the old casting couch and moved it into the cuck booth.
you, you know,
Like it's slightly used, boys. Don't worry about it.
you're a cuck. You're not gonna complain.
Right. You're like, ooh, is this extra crusty?
This is
It's
part
I
of, yeah,
like
you
it.
can, yeah, exactly. Savor
Yeah.
the flavor of the cushions.
Mm.
You goddamn cuck. But yes, so much has happened.
So
but
much.
really, like two big stories we're gonna touch on, and if there's anything else,
I mean, I'm sure more will come up.
after we address those somewhere along the way of the episode, then absolutely. But I think
Mm.
the big one, of course, is our boy Luigi.
Luigi.
Marone.
He,
So I do have
you make forget the sick of fucking healthcare CEO.
exactly. I do have an article to bring up that I'm gonna go over at some point, but I think we should just start off with our initial thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, my initial reaction to this whole thing. So I'm one of those people that I judge kind of like initially what to think of a situation by the knee-jerk reactions of the people that I generally disagree with. Right? So
Sure.
like if like Trump does something, like if Trump does or says something, immediately like I look to my liberal friends and to see like and the ones that have the most knee-jerk reactions to everything. I look to see what they're saying, and I'm like, because if I'm like, I don't know what to think about this. If I look to them and they're like, this is the biggest fucking disgrace ever, I'm like, okay, I'm on board. Whatever you said, I'm with it. If they don't have a reaction, I'm like, okay, like maybe it's not that big a deal. Let this one kind of play out, see how it goes.
I feel you on that. Yeah, being the ever the contrarian.
Yeah, well, not even just the contrarian, but just like I know how certain people think.
Yes.
Like I've gotten to know how certain people think and how certain people act. And usually, and this is like 9.9 out of 10 times, we're on the opposite sides of things. And 9 out of 10 times, I'm usually the one that's right. So I know if they're saying X and I'm saying Y, I'm like, well, all right.
Well, maybe
Odds are in my favor that I'm going to be right about this.
maybe me using the term contrarian here wasn't the correct usage, because I do understand what you're saying, and I am right there with you, especially with certain people. You're like, oh, well, if they reacted to this
Yeah.
that way, then I mean, Jesus Christ, it's got to be the opposite. It has to be true because this person
Right,
is
so-
completely off the reservation.
So I kind of just went along with I was like, all right, well, what do I think about this whole situation? Because again, I'm not one. I'm not gonna say I'm terrified of death because that would be wrong. But I value life very highly.
Sure.
So for someone to take a life away, you better have a really good reason, or there better be there's not a lot of reasons. Yeah, there's not a lot of reasons for me to be able to justify taking someone's life away, right? Don't get me wrong, we all see the movies and everything else, and we're like, yeah, Taken, I would kill all those people, and you're like, okay, yeah, I probably would go on a murderous rampage too. If somebody kidnapped my wife and daughter 14 times, and be like, all right, guys,
that specific set of skills.
Yeah, very specific set of skills, which I don't, but I don't think you really need that to succeed in this world. I mean, does it help? Sure. Yes. But would it be necessary? No. That being said, when I saw the video initially, I immediately I knew I'm a gun guy. I recognized what was happening. This was everybody's oh, this guy was everybody's oh, he was a John Wick hitman because his gun jammed and he kept having to unjam the gun. I'm like, no, dumbass. He was using a 22 with subsonic rounds and a silencer. There's not enough pressure in that bullet to blow the slide back and rack another round in a true semi-automatic fashion. So you basically have to do it manually. So I got that right off the rip, and I'm seeing everybody's reactions, and everybody's oh, and then you find out who the guy was, and you're oh, he's the CEO of Advent Health or whatever it was.
I believe it's United Healthcare.
United Health. I'm sorry, yeah, United Health, which is one of the biggest healthcare providers in the country.
Right.
And everybody knows the stories. Everybody hears the sob stories. They're oh, my healthcare, my health insurance denied me this claim, and they denied me this, and they denied me that, and life-saving care, and blah 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 blah, and all this other shit. And we're yep, okay, yeah, we hear about it. It's tragic. It sucks. It happens. Is that enough of a reason for me to murk the CEO right outside of his office building at 7 a.m.? I mean, I could think of some scenarios where the answer to that would be yes. But, and this is where I put the but, because what I don't think most people understand is that, okay, let's say hypothetically, this kid, Luigi, he was on a vengeful, murderous rampage. He was going full-blown Archer rampage. Fake chemo drugs were given to his wife, and the CEO of this healthcare thing was no, you're not getting the real ones. I smite you. Ha ha ha. I want profits, not alive people. And let's say that was true. What do you think killing the CEO of United Health is actually going to affect?
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
It doesn't change anything. In fact, it only makes it worse, in my opinion.
It very well could. My stance on it initially was well, geez, that's big news. And then I was well, finally, something that both people on the left and right can actually agree on, at least for the most part. Not saying it was good. I don't condone murder. But to get to your point that you just made, in not accomplishing anything, no, it didn't. It may make things worse. But ultimately, it's not about accomplishing anything other than making a statement. It's, as far as we know so far, that's all that this was. He didn't rob the guy. He didn't do anything other than kill him. So
no, this was a one mission job. You're not running his pockets. You're not doing it. And Kay, congratulations, you pulled it off. And then you got caught because McDonald's is a bunch of snitches.
That 80-something-year-old volunteer or whatever.
No shit, right? Of all the people.
Grandma, narked.
Yeah, right.
On a guy who's, depending on where you look at it, a hero, a folk legend at this point. Again, I'm not celebrating the death of this man. I feel bad. For his family.
At the end of the day, this is a guy. This guy had a family, kids and a wife. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's tough for me. And I don't think what people don't realize too is when it comes to, everybody gets so attached to these stories about healthcare and these big companies and they're just like profits over people, profits over people. Like, I hate to break it to you, but that's literally every company ever. Like, it's not just contained to your healthcare companies. Like, whatever company you work for that's giving you, hopefully gave you a Christmas bonus or whatever this week, they could literally care less if you die tomorrow. Like, you will just be replaced. You are a cog in the machine. And I think people have this overinflated this self-worth of like where they think like, yeah, they better pay me because if I quit all this extra stuff I do, this place is going down the tubes. It's like, yeah, bro, I'm pretty sure Amazon's going to be fine if you quit. Like, just throwing it out
like
there.
That. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like my work, I could literally die on my way home from work tomorrow morning, and in 6 days they'll have forgotten I even worked there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the way it is, dude. So the way people were like celebrating this guy now, and the thing I think that kind of made me mad about it was like they were celebrating this guy as if like he was the one that was like deciding that like this 42-year-old mother of 3 who has, breast cancer, like, you know what? Fuck her. We're not paying for her treatment.
Right.
Like,
well, he didn't. Yeah, he wasn't responsible for each.
Yeah, like that's not how it works.
However,
like it's really not.
He was responsible for making cuts here and there, I'm sure. So, which ultimately,
I mean, to run an efficient company, cuts need to be made sometimes. It's just the way it is.
Would lead to those decisions to be made lower down on the corporate ladder.
And to people who may not be qualified, but then again, we're a country that's like, we are thrilled to hire unqualified people for positions they don't deserve.
The reason I think that,
as long as they fit the right demographic.
Yeah. The reason I think a lot of people are in some cases celebrating this is because it was a healthcare CEO. Because it's a healthcare.
If it was the CEO of fucking like Boeing or Nike, nobody would care.
Not as much. And again, it comes down to this being a statement hit. It's saying, hey, you may or may not have been directly responsible for the deaths of a lot of people because of the bottom line for the company that you are the CEO of.
And I do believe that, like, if you have health, and I trust me, you will not find anybody that is more on board with like how bullshit big pharma is and like how health insurance companies just fuck people over left and right. Like, to me, insurance is one of the greatest scams ever created by man. Like, it is insane. Like, it's right up there with college degrees. Like, you could go your whole life without needing insurance, never take a dime out of it. And then you get to your 70th year on this planet after paying in, insurance for 30, 40, 50 years. And your insurance is like, oh, what's that? Like, oh, you need this medicine? Sorry, bro, not covered. And you're like, what do you mean it's not covered? Like, I haven't ever used anything for insurance. And they're like, yeah, we know. And thanks for that. But like, also, bummer. Like, guess you're going to have to go fuck yourself. Like, and trust me, I fucking hate that about a lot of things. Like, I went through with my car a couple years ago. I've never filed an insurance claim with my vehicles at all. My car was parked in front of my house legally. Didn't do anything wrong. Legally parked. My DUI neighbor fucking rear ends it right after. Literally, I had just got it home from the mechanic. I had put $2,500 into this thing, like into my old Caddy, just to get it back up to like new and running. And I mean, I'm talking like shocks, struts, catalytic converters, like, rotors, brakes, calipers, like everything. I did everything front to back, full everything. $2,500, and I got a fucking deal on this thing because one of our buddies hooked it up. And I get it home, I park it, I leave, I go to work, I come back 6 hours later, it's totaled. And my insurance company's like, yeah, we'll give you $3,000. And I'm like, all right, like, fair, that's what the car is worth. Like, it was an older car at the time, it wasn't anything like spectacular. I loved it, but it wasn't spectacular.
But you also just dumped $2,500.
But I jumped, and I tell the girl on the phone, I'm like, listen, I was like, hey, I said, I literally have the receipt, like time stamped hours before the accident, like $2,500. Like, is there anything that you can do to like cover that? And she's like, what was it? And I kind of like read off some of the stuff. She's like, unfortunately, she's like, that stuff's not covered under insurance. She's like, it's only like a motor and like the transmission or some bullshit. And she's like, that's just, and I was like, no. I'm like, I get it. And I'm not coming at you. I was like, but like, there's nothing you can do. She's like, no, unfortunately, it's just kind of like one of those bad luck things. And I was like, sweetie, I said, and again, don't take this the wrong way. I know this isn't your call. I'm sure you would I'm sure you'd cut me a check right now if it was up to you. But I said, bad luck is when I go to the casino and I put $100 on black 4 times in a row and it comes up red. Like, that's bad luck. I said, I have insurance. Yeah, I was like, I have fucking insurance. So when bad luck hits, I'm not financially on the hook for it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's laughing. She's like, bro, you're preaching to the choir. She's like, I think it's ridiculous.
Right
too.
there
I'm like,
with you. I just work here.
Yep. She's like, and she's like, I'll kick it up to the adjuster. I'll see what they do. They were so fortunate. They gave me an extra $500. So I was like, oh, thank you. So insurance is, to me, one of the most insane scams in the galaxy.
Yeah, because when you do need it, you have to jump through all these hoops. There's all this red tape to get what you're legally entitled to.
Yeah, what I pay for it. I pay for it every month.
That's why it's called insurance. So you have that insurance.
Yeah.
Not the monetary insurance, the assurance that you are covered.
Yes.
For at least a good portion of it.
And at one point, I think the federal government wanted to make it illegal for me not to have that said insurance. So, yeah, that's how important they deem it to be, or at least Chocolate Stalin deemed it to be.
Yeah, exactly. And then, here's, basically socialism's version of it. Except it's not free. I mean, it isn't in Canada anyways. They pay for their quote unquote free healthcare through their taxes.
Oh, trust me. If I had I have a good buddy. It's so funny because everybody always talks about like free Canada, like healthcare in Canada and all these other places in the world.
Oh, the wait
I have a very
get a physical is ridiculous. I mean, it's
18 months,
too, but
18 months minimum.
Yeah,
like over there
that have died while waiting for treatment.
Well, that's the whole scam is deny and hope you die, because then they don't have to pay for anything.
Yeah,
and I have a very good friend of mine. He was a professional sailor, like sailed boats professionally, like that shit you see on like TV where they're like the boats like fucking come up out of the water and they're doing like 40 miles an hour, these sailboats and shit. He did that, and he would sail with people from all over the world, and he would fucking laugh every time because they'd all shit on America, they'd shit on America, and all this stupid stuff, right? And then as soon as like one of them would like tear a rotator cuff, they'd come to Massachusetts, they'd live in Boston for 6 months, apply for residency, get on Mass Health, and get an appointment like that. Because back where they were from, whether it was like, the Balkans, whatever, fucking, Denmark or whatever, wherever the fuck they were from, Sweden, all these other places, they were like, yeah, I want to get an MRI. They told me it was going to be 28 months for an MRI. And he's like, I got a race coming up like in 6 weeks, like, and I got a torn
I can't
fucking
wait over 2 years.
Yeah, like, nah, man, like, can't do that. So they would all come here and like mooch off Mass Health and like our like privatized healthcare. They'd get like private health insurance through like an employer, and just do that. And they'd be like, "Yep, cool." And my buddy would be like, "Oh yeah, America really fucking sucks, huh? Yeah, you guys got it so fucking good over there, huh? You fucking losers." But yeah. Anyway, I digress. But yeah.
No, you're not wrong on that.
I love when people just like, I hate when people shit on America like it's not the greatest fucking country on earth. Like, are we perfect? No. But we're fucking working on it.
And we'll get there again.
Well, now that Uncle Donnie's got 30 days?
Yep. Yeah, actually
today. 31 days? Oh yeah, today, right? 20. No, 21. No, 20th. January 20th. We're under 30 days.
Yeah. Well, today, my new dark Gothic MAGA hat came in.
Oh, nice.
I had to rep that. I'm probably going to bend the brim up like I usually do, but for today, so it's visible on camera.
I like the Elon's one, the dark MAGA one, with like the like almost like the oil slick letters.
Yep.
I thought that was pretty fresh.
This is directly from MAGA.com, so I believe.
Yep. Yeah, I was perusing there for Christmas gifts for my parents actually. I was looking for very specific Christmas gifts for my parents, but I could only find one that I wanted. So they kind of fucked me. They got rid of the gold Trump golf balls that I was going to get my dad.
Ooh.
So He really liked them because they were very easy to find. You would like, you just see a bright, shiny gold golf ball in the grass is like very easy to pick out.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad's not, the worst golfer in the world, but he misses fairways from time to time, and needs to go find balls. So made it easy for him.
Especially
on
a nice sunny day. I'm sure it was like a
fuck
very
yeah,
reflective gold.
Dude, it was like almost like violently reflective. It was nice.
Yeah, obnoxiously, and that's why.
Yeah, I just took the words right out of my mouth. It's obnoxious.
So yeah, I'm gonna bring up the so this is via NBC News. This is from today. Luigi Mangione pleads not guilty to New York State charges in killing of United Healthcare CEO.
I love that he pleads not guilty, and it's like, it's on film, right?
And then they see you smiling everywhere.
You know what I think it is, though? I think he wants this to go in front of a jury because I think he thinks he has a chance with a jury. Because they'll side with him because of who he killed.
He might think that. Per the article here.
Is it a Hail Mary? Yeah. Is it worth throwing? Also, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't read this article yet. I just saw the headline. I was like, not guilty. He's really? Okay.
Yeah. Hey, man. OJ got off, okay?
Not for
Stranger things have happened.
Not for stealing his own memorabilia, though. They got him on that.
No, they got him on that. You do not steal your own shit in this country.
Which is so ridiculous.
You can kill all the white bitches you want, but you do not steal your own shit.
Your wife.
Oh, my God.
So, yes, Luigi Mangione pleaded not guilty Monday to New York State charges in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, as his defense complained about police parading him in quote-unquote perp walks that are also quote-unquote perfectly choreographed, utterly political.
Somewhat.
What do they mean by that?
Yeah, I think that's just something you say when you know you're dead guilty and you're trying to fucking search for anything to be like, look at me, I'm the victim now.
Perp walks, that if you're going to court and you're the perpetrator in custody and you're being
inherently that's a perp walk.
Yes.
Can't change that, Yeah.
So Mangione wore a white shirt under a maroon sweater and light colored pants in his arraignment before Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Gregory Caro. Supreme Court is the top trial court in New York. Manhattan prosecutors last week unleashed an 11-count indictment charging Mangione with a host of crimes connected to the December 4th slaying. The allegations include first-degree murder, an act of terrorism, criminal possession of a weapon, and forgery by using a fake ID in the days before the murder. Mangione pleaded not guilty to all charges during the short hearing, at which he conferred with defense lawyer Karen Friedman Agnafilo, okay, another Paisan.
Yeah, right.
And prison consultant Craig Rothfield.
Hey, it's all in the family.
Yeah, exactly. Who works with
what's stronger than family?
5 minutes. Yeah, he'll be cutting up garlic slicing up real thin in his cell.
Yeah. It's too thick. We're making a piccata. I told you that.
Mangione appeared to be fully engaged with his attorneys as they signed papers pertaining to his current federal incarceration at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. Caro ordered Mangione to remain in custody in lieu of a $1 symbolic bail. Okay. Mangione is being held in federal custody without bail and has no realistic chance of freedom until trial. Friedman Agnafilo said she is worried about the high publicity that she accused law enforcement of stoking by presenting Mangione in public during trips to courtrooms and police stations. So basically, they're just saying here that, because this goes on for a little bit more, but
yeah, they're basically just being like, hey, man, you paraded my guy around in front of everybody. How are we supposed to get a fair trial?
Is a fair trial possible?
I think if this guy's going to get a trial at all, I think he's going to, if I was the prosecution, I'd be terrified. Because already the public opinion of this guy is this guy's a fucking hero for doing what he did. You know what I mean? I'd be like,
how are you gonna find 12 people that don't know anything about this. Like it.
Well, that and how are you going to find 12 people that are going to be like, oh, well, yeah, I was a United Health fucking care worker. My aunt got fucking denied coverage. Fuck that guy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
crazy.
It's a pretty
bias.
big company. Yeah, I mean, and not for nothing, but everybody knows somebody who's been fucked over by a health insurance company at some point or another. You know, whether it was EpiPens or medicines or like your prescription wasn't covered or whatever, like everybody knows somebody. Mm-hmm. So I think the prosecutions is the only thing they have going for them is that it's literally on camera, like in borderline broad daylight.
And like, then there's footage of him wearing the same stuff later, and it's clearly him. So it's.
Mm-hmm. There's no mistaken identity here.
Right. I think initially there was a little bit, but then more footage within like a day or two came out of surveillance footage of like, okay, here he is. I mean, if he was really trying to hide, he should have had his eyebrows done, because he could have kept wearing a mask.
Telltale.
Those caterpillars he's got there.
Yeah, no hiding those. The only thing he could hope for is like they get like a Beavis and Butthead on the jury, and they're just like, yeah, he's being accused of manslaughter, and they're like, whoa, cool, manslaughter, the slaughter of man,
that's
and you're
cool.
like,
yeah,
that's cool,
And then the more details come out, and they're like, whoa,
yeah, this guy rules.
And then they see the video.
Awesome. I want to drink.
Let's watch it again.
Yeah. Play it again.
Yeah, right. I mean it. So I think, in pleading not guilty, and forcing a trial, essentially, maybe it isn't a bad decision.
So I don't think it's a bad decision at all. I think it's, and for me, and this is just me first guessing it. Did you see like his kind of reaction when he was getting arrested, and like some of the things he was doing on camera and like in front of the cameras when they were on?
No,
he was like smiling, laughing, you know what I mean? Like making jokes, like talking, like he was basically acting like fucking Heath Ledger in the Batman movie as the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like kind of like a little bit crazy, but like you almost like, I kind of feel this guy. You know what I mean? like he's relatable. Like one of those kind of things.
That leads me. Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, so my thing is like, I think, and this is my take on it, I think he was paid by somebody involved with United Healthcare to off this guy because they didn't like the way he was taking the company, whether it was one of those board members that literally had to step over his dead body to get into the building to go up to their quarterly meeting that they were having, which went off exactly at 8 a.m. as it was supposed to, by the way. Even though the CEO is dead, they were like, okay, cool. Who's up next? Okay, good. You got the reports? Yeah, good. Fire him up. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't miss a beat. I think he was paid by somebody like on that board to have him offed because they didn't like the way he was taking the company or whatever. And they felt like they were going to lose money over it. And maybe behind the scenes, they're like, listen, bro, like you're going to do this. You're going to take the fall. It's going to suck for a little bit. You're going to go to court, but we got this judge in our back pocket. We got some things working. We're going to do what we can to get you off. Even if you do get found guilty, we'll get you out on good behavior in a couple years, whatever.
Also, we're a major healthcare provider. Everybody hates us. People,
and like also we have more money than fucking God. So, and influence. And it's like, oh, what's that? You're a judge, and look at that. Your niece has leukemia. Oh man. Be a real shame if her insurance got rejected. Looks like you better just make this a hung jury. I mean, shit, they did it for the state troopers with Karen Reed. I mean, what the fuck?
Right.
That bitch that judge was in the fucking pocket of the cops the whole fucking time.
Well, that's a whole nother can of worms. The mass
and
police in particular corruption.
If Karen Reed wasn't hot, I don't think it'd be that big of a deal. Like if she was just like some average, like 3.5 or 4, no, I don't think anybody would care, to be honest. But the fact that she was hot, like every single time, like somebody gets murdered or like goes to jail, like you see it and they're hot, it's just like a little sadder. You know what I'm saying? Like like that
Yeah.
guy that chopped up his wife and like hang him or whatever and like stuffed her in like acid barrels and like dissolved her body. You know what I'm talking about? The guy with, like the kind of curly hair. It was like 2 years ago or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Year and a half ago.
Chris Watts, but yeah, that wasn't around here. Unless there was another one.
No, there was another guy in Mass that did it.
Oh,
yeah, his wife was like a Ukrainian like influencer.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Chris Watts.
Yeah, something else. My wife would know. She knows all this stuff. She's like a crime junkie podcast fanatic.
Same.
And she would know exactly who it is because I brought up. But like, I looked at that chick's Instagram and I was like, "Aw, she was hot. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I mean, again, it just makes it just a little sadder. A little sadder. I'm not saying it's all life is equal, but a hot female dies. You're like, man,
Jesus.
That's too bad.
As a cis straight male, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're robbing. There's not a lot of good left in this world, man. Why you gotta do that? All the things you could take from it.
Now her Instagram is devoid of new posts. Like
exactly, dude. And you're like, so what? It's like she was cheating on you. Big fucking deal. You're an old frumpy old man. What do you expect?
Yeah.
What do you think? She was into you because of your personality, or do you think she was into you because of your money? Come on.
Yeah.
How stupid can you be? Don't kill her.
Stupid.
let some fucking young 30-year-old male buck fucking take her to Pound Town, bro. Like whatever. Like, you know what I mean? You get yours on the side, deal with it. Go sit in the cuck booth with the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, like he isn't getting his on the side.
I mean, maybe right. Yeah, no shit. Also, yes. Like you got that much money and you're wifing up that kind of like, yeah, all right. We all know what's going on here. Yeah. This isn't real.
You know what this dynamic is off the bat. But to get back to your point there, and I think it could tie into your theory there. Him getting caught seemed all too convenient.
Very.
And the fact that he had, the full manifesto on him, a 3D printed gun, and he, of all places, a McDonald's. You see pictures
it was almost like he wanted to be caught.
Exactly. You see pictures of this guy without a shirt on. He's pretty shredded. He's in very good shape.
Probably not
doesn't
frequent McDonald's. Yeah.
Yeah, or at least not very often.
Or maybe he's one of those genetic fucking freaks like, Chad Ochocinco, and he eats McDonald's once a day.
That could also be the case, but
I was eating McDonald's like 2-3 times a week when I was, a couple months ago when I was in my bulking phase, if you will, but it's different.
Yeah,
can't do that shit every day.
But still, he doesn't seem the type of guy to be.
No, I guess you're. Yeah, no, I'm picking up what you're putting down. It's
and also, that's not like, oh, I can just stop off at like some mom and pop place off the beaten trail to get a bite to eat.
Right.
No, I'm going to a very well-known establishment.
Yeah, let me go to a well-known establishment that has like 10 billion cameras in it, including the ones on the kiosks that I have to place my order on now.
Yeah.
And
I
don't know. Seems like you wanted to be caught.
As it turns out, too, I believe the woman that snitched on him will not be getting the reward because she called the wrong number.
Wow. Isn't that just a scumbag? Isn't that like just so on par for our government?
Yeah.
Like so on par for our government.
So not only
you turned in this fugitive for a $10,000 reward. You called 1-800. Yeah. We needed you to call 1-888.
Yeah, see, like we appreciate the tip.
But good looks. Thank you. We'll take that 10 grand and make sure it goes to somebody good. Yeah.
Yeah, that is just. She was like a volunteer worker there too.
Right, like someone who could probably like wicked use the money too.
Most likely.
We should start a GoFundMe for her if it hasn't been done already. Like just like a fuck the U.S. Marshals GoFundMe, or ATF or FBI or whoever.
Be put on blast that much because it's known that she did it. She should at least get the money for it. Like.
And then, right. And then, but you know what's going to happen though? The GoFundMe will get started. Whatever law enforcement agent will get some bad pub. Next thing you know, she'll have FBI agents knocking on her door every day. Like, I just want to ask you a few questions.
Yeah, it might end up being more trouble for her than it's worth.
Yeah, if that were armed IRS agents showing up. Like, so we noticed you got a $10,000 reward. You plan on paying those taxes, lady? She's like, it's not even time to file yet. And they're like, yeah, but make sure when it is, you do. It's like
Exactly.
it's like an old school, like Soprano style shakedown,
Mm-hmm.
which I've never seen, by the way. But
Oh shit, you haven't?
no little factoid. Never seen The Sopranos. I watched the last episode. That was it. Because a bunch of my buddies had a watch party for it at the place I was at that night.
Oh, that's like, oh no,
Yeah.
I can't. Oh, 'Cause-
What's worse, that or my introduction to Metallica being like load?
No, you know what though? That makes more sense.
Because it lined up, age wise. Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like you were actively trying to watch that episode of this. It just happened to be on, and that was the only one you watched.
Yeah. So I remember going to my buddy Vaughn's house and where the fuck wherever URI is, like over the bridge. Oh,
Yep,
like
yeah,
over by
I've
the
been to
Mount Hope Bridge.
URI.
Yep,
It's,
and Johnston. I don't know. Anyway, one of those towns over there, and
shares it. Kingston. It's like near Kingston, Rhode Island.
Kingston. Yeah, Kingston, because all my buddies were from over there at the time, and I think I forget what we were doing, like why we were over there, but we ended up going to my buddy Vaughn had like this wicked dope, like flat, like condo. And we'd watched the Super Bowl there that like earlier that year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like he had a 100-inch projector, like back when 100-inch
so
projectors were like
to watch an event.
Yeah, it was like back when like 100 like projectors were like, whoa, dude, like you got a projector, like holy shit, you rich fuck, like.
Mm-hmm.
And he was super loaded. It was cool. And wicked nice guy. And he was so nice. And like, but I remember there was like 30 of us over there for whatever reason. I don't know if it was somebody's birthday or whatever. And the Sopranos finale was on, and I remember just like kicking back with my buddy like Nick Iver, and we were watching it, and I'm like, they're like, you ever watch the show? I'm like, nah, it's the first episode I've ever seen. They're like, what? And everybody's like, oh no, you shouldn't even watch this. You should go back and watch all of them. I'm like, honestly, man, I'm an asshole. I'm never gonna go back and watch this. Like, it's never gonna happen. So just don't worry about it.
Well, you already know how it ends, so kind of what's the point? But also, it's ambiguous.
But it's the journey. It's what I mean. Like,
yes.
Like I knew enough about it. Like I was gonna find out through like it's like how else could I put that? Like fucking like Shawshank Redemption. Like I know I've never actually seen it. Like I've seen parts of it.
I fucking look. That's one of those.
But I've never like sat down and watched it. But I know enough of it through like pop culture, through like Family Guy references and everything else that I'm like, okay, like I've basically seen it. You know what I mean? But like. Yeah, like it's never gonna, like nothing's gonna catch me off guard. So
I'd like to say that Joey fought the good fight and watched the entire Shawshank Redemption and at least a few more episodes of The Sopranos besides the finale, but he did not.
I did not, sir. But I will go whatever. I'll go eat eggs with Andy Dufresne and whatever that movie was too. Like fucking.
That's Shawshank, yeah.
Shawshank, yeah, that was it, right? Same movie. Yeah, I'll eat all the eggs. That's what I'll do. I can crush them. But no, I watched it and I remember like we're watching it and then like obviously like the end happens and like it blacks out, and everybody's like screaming like, "What the fuck?"
That's it.
And everybody's like, "Dude, the TV just cut out." And somebody's like, "No, it didn't," because they were watching something else like in another room. It's like, again, it was like, I felt like this place had like 14 bedrooms. It was like 2 floors of a condo. It was fucking crazy place. And like, everybody's like, what the fuck? And everybody's flipping out. And that's it. That was the end of it. And then boom, the credits, like, Journey's playing and like all this shit.
And you're probably thinking like, oh man, good thing I didn't watch all that. Spend all those hours watching all that. No. That's how it ended.
Right? It's like this is almost as bad as the ending of Game of Thrones, which hasn't even been conceived yet, but I can tell you it's going to be terrible. But yeah, it was pretty bad. I mean, I watched it. I was like, okay. I was like, I didn't know what was going on. So it was kind of cool, but good show. I mean, I get it. It was a good show. It was a really well done show, I guess. I wouldn't know because I've never seen it, but the clips I've seen and the stuff I've seen of it, it looks pretty phenomenal. It's just, for me to like invest time into watching a TV show is just so fucking impossible with like everything else I have like to do in my life. I don't know. Like TV is just so low on my priority list. So like the only thing that I will sit down and watch now, like that's other than live sports, is South Park. That is it.
Sure. Yeah. Episodic stuff.
Yeah, like South Park new season, boom. Like I'm in front of the TV, 10 p.m. Wednesday night. Fuck you. Like I'm watching this. Or like the special comes out and I'm like, yep, I'm watching it. Anything else? Nah, dude. If it's not live sports, I really don't care. I really don't. Like it just doesn't do anything for me. Like I started watching the last thing I think I really watched that I got invested in was Sons of Anarchy. Like along
I
those
watched that
lines.
for quite a few seasons, and then I dropped off on it.
Yeah, I almost quit on it because it got so like it got kind of redundant to the point of like, okay, like how many more times can they possibly go to jail? How many more times can they like how many more feds are gonna fucking show up out of nowhere? Like what dumb thing
is gonna get involved now?
Yeah, who else is gonna get involved? And they
who's
kind
gonna
of
turn
ended
on
it.
who?
Yeah, they kind of ended it right at the perfect time because they were like running out of shit to do. And they were like, and Kurt Sutter, like to his credit, like I think was just like recognized, like, all right, like, yeah, this gravy train can't keep going on forever. Like we got spin-offs, we can do other stuff. And he was just like, let's end it. And they did, and they ended it kind of perfectly. You know what I mean? Like they killed Opie and then Jax kills himself, and it was like pretty dope.
I didn't finish the series, but I did have like basically all the major points going forward from there spoiled for me. I think that was part of why I stopped watching because I wasn't caught up, and then in conversations like at work.
People just talk about it. He's like, "Oh, did you see it last night?"
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, they fucking killed." I'm like, "You fucking kidding me? You just said that?" Like,
well, I have like I have like a 48-hour rule. Like, if you basically from like or a 24-hour rule, like you have 24 hours to watch the episode before it's like, okay, like we gave you 24 hours. Like I don't know how else like long to give you, but like
right.
We're going to talk about it.
When I stopped watching it, I don't think I had like a DVR setup or anything like that. So it was, and that was before you could stream like a show that like live.
Yeah, if it wasn't like there was very select things that were on demand that you could go back and like watch.
You could maybe watch it a week later or something like that. Like, so some of it's on me and not keeping up. But also, there are those assholes. But it wasn't a bad show.
No, it was actually really good. But that was, I think, the last show that I would like of that like kind of like drama-y. Because I think I watched a bunch of shows like that back then. Like when I was in college, for whatever reason, I had a lot more time to kill. Who knew?
For whatever reason.
Who knew? Who knew when I was in college I was gonna have all the time in the world? If I only knew that now. But like I would watch that. Like I watched that silly show, The Last Ship, which was like about a pandemic that wipes out humanity except for this one fucking Navy vessel that's out in the middle of nowhere on a super secret mission that nobody knows about, so they don't get infected.
Heard of that.
It was actually pretty good. It was actually pretty good show. And then like my dad, I was talking to my dad, and he was becoming a pretty big fan of Yellowstone. And
which has
then
like
he
1,000 seasons already, so in spinoffs.
Yeah, and he watched like I think like 2 seasons of it, and he's like, yeah, the show's pretty badass, man. It's pretty fucking cool. And then he gets to like midway through season 3, he's like, this show's fucking stupid. he's like, it's the same fucking shit they just did for the last, like, what the fuck? Like, he goes, how many more fucking people are you gonna slap a branding iron on and then toss him in a ravine in the middle of nowhere and be like, no. Like, he's like, people don't just go missing like that and just never be found because the cops are like, I don't know what happened. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like no. He's like, this is fucking silly. And he quit on it. And I was like, yeah, I can see that. Like, kind of how I felt about Sons of Anarchy at times. Like, I'm like, okay, like, here we go again. But whatever. I'm invested, so I'll watch. The one show that I did quit on that I'm super proud of myself for quitting on because I absolutely was fucking 100% right to quit on it was The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
that show went to fucking shit so fucking
before
fast.
Negan actually showed up.
Me too. Me too.
After the governor, and then they got to Terminus, and I was like, it's just the same shit over and over. Oh, now they're captured by the people at Terminus and not the governor.
I think season 5 I had on my DVR, all of it. And I was just like, and I just went delete. And I was like, are you sure you want to delete all these episodes? And I was like, I'm quitting you. And I deleted them. And I was like,
Yep.
fuck this show. I was so sick and fucking tired of like, it's like next week on The Walking Dead. And it's like, you know, fucking Earl or whatever his name was, Carl's dad or whatever. I don't remember his name at this point. But he's like, we got to get ready. We're going to war. And like, it's like, boom, like explosions and guns and zombies and crazy shit. And you're like, all right, cool. Like next week's episode looks sick. Then you get to the next week's episode and it's just like some fucking that lesbian dyke bitch just like looking up in the sky being like, remember when planes used to fly over? And it's like 20 minutes of them just being like, the world was so different before everybody died. And you're like, yeah, no shit, bitch. Like, that's what fucking happens.
Yeah,
and they'd like reminisce.
Season like 6 or whatever.
Yeah, and then like nothing would happen. And then it'd be like, next week on The Walking Dead. It's like, we're going to war. And you're like, no, you're not. Like, no, you're not. You're not going to war. You just keep saying that because you want me to fucking watch next week. But you're a fucking liar. And fuck you. And fuck Coral. And fuck everybody. And I lost my shit and I was like, fuck this show. This show sucks. Because that show could have been one of the coolest, best shows maybe ever.
The first,
like just the premise and the budget and the actors and everything they had in it, and they just completely skull fucked it.
I'd say like, yeah, it's a little slow when they get to the farm for a bit in like season 2.
But that was okay.
It picks up that, you know, this good character development. Those long times where there is just a lot of talking actually felt meaningful because it was.
Well, that's the thing. Early on, you were getting to know the characters.
Yes.
So it made sense. But like, once you get to know the characters, like I loved like John Bernthal's character.
Oh, Shane,
the one that was Shane. Like he was one of my favorite characters, and he gets nuffed. And I'm like, that sucks. But like, whatever. Like, you know, it's like any good show. Like, you're going to get attached to somebody and then they're going to get killed, you know? And then when I saw like, you know, obviously Rowdy Burns was in it. So I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, let's send it. And, you know, and then it's like, then they find his like, you know, less evil brother who has a crossbow and a motorcycle. And I'm like, okay, like okay, whatever. Cool. Like it's a comic book. I get it. And then it just got to the point where they were like, they just missed the mark so bad. Like they just didn't give anybody what they wanted. It was such a stereotypical Hollywood. We're so far up our own ass. We know better than you. You're stupid. We know what's good and you need to just listen to us and like it kind of attitude.
It got lazy.
Wicked lazy.
And it was just like, okay, we'll give them what they want with the mindless zombie action here and there. Maybe a few good scenes. But the character development is going to be shit. The writing's going to be shit. And it's just recycled stuff just in a different place with other different characters.
Yeah, I'd say after season 3, that show went to shit in a handbag, like real quick. Because season 1 and 2 were good. Season 3 was okay.
I
think even season 4 was tolerable.
Because he was a good.
I think that was season 4, right? The governor.
I think his arc ran through 3 and 4, I believe.
Yeah. Right, when they're at the prison and then they have the big shootout at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
cool.
The
build
but like
to all that was great, and
but it took forever to get to it, and like they kept alluding to it every day, like next week on The Walking Dead, and they keep showing the shootout, and you're like, it was like 6 weeks away, and then it lasted like 5 minutes, and you're like, that's it? Really? Like this could have been a whole episode. I feel.
Well, that's how they get you on those shows.
I know. But it was just so bad. Like it just didn't give any. It just didn't give you any. It was so unrewarding and so unfulfilling.
And I think I got burned out by the zombie shit, and also the subculture of The Walking Dead. Because then it had its own after show. It had its own like podcast. It was all
The Talking Dead.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
We don't need to talk about the show. We just saw it. We don't need to no.
Yeah.
That was lame as fuck.
I mean, I get why they do that kind of content because
they cash the fuck in on it. That's why.
That would be but that's like bonus. That would be what would be bonus content on like a Blu-ray.
Correct.
Like the commentary.
But those are dead and gone now, and I think they were dead and gone at that point, or just about to be.
Especially now with streaming.
Because there's nothing I miss more than going and getting like the new South Park season on DVD. Popping it in and listening to Matt and Trey's commentary for whatever, like it was like 2 to 3 minutes worth of commentary per episode. but I just loved listening to their thoughts on their shit,
I still
even though
have
they hated talking about it.
Yeah, I still have a few seasons on DVD.
Oh, I have every one I've ever bought. I have on DVD still.
Nice.
So I'll never get rid of those because that shit's like, because even still now, like I don't even think I have. I don't know if I have the season with the 200 and 201st episode on it when they which were ultimately banned. Which when they showed Muhammad.
Yes.
And they got him banned, and they like pulled him, and even off of like any after they banned him, they even pulled him off the DVDs.
Right. So yeah.
So like if you have an original print, like I think it was season, I want to say like season 8 or 9, maybe, or 10, somewhere in there where like the 200th episode was.
That
like I feel
about right.
If you have that original run of DVDs with those episodes on it, like those episodes can't, like you can't get them on South Park Studios. You can't stream them anywhere. They don't exist online. The only way you can find them is bootleg, or somebody you know has it.
Yeah, I'm sure you could also rip it to a computer at this point. But yes, as far as like physical media goes, and then all the streaming services, if it's not on any of those, then yeah.
Oh wow, it was the 14th season.
14th.
Yeah.
I don't think that's one of the ones I have. I'll check later, but
I definitely have it, but I don't know if I have the original print one.
Yeah, I want to say I don't have that season physically.
Because I remember like in one of the original print ones, like if you watch the commentary on it, because that's the one where that's the Cartman turns into a ginger, right?
That is it.
Oh no, that's the Tom Cruise one. My goo.
Oh yes.
Yeah, trapped in the closet, and Tom Cruise is he's a fudge packer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was that one. So, fuck, I'm trying to think. So maybe it wasn't that one. Maybe it was the ginger episodes that they. Oh no, it was that one because then they had Muhammad in there because remember they said Muhammad couldn't be made fun of. Like if you had the goo, you couldn't be made fun of, and they tried to get Muhammad's goo and like.
Oh yeah, well yeah. Then there's the one much later where
and they're like, look,
Muhammad
like Tom Cruise has semen on his back.
Yeah, swallow cum.
No way, he just said that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like Moses who says that.
Fucking one of my fucking all-time favorite lines of that show. I don't know why, like that, and the one when they're doing the Mexicans when Butter's the last Mohican, and like all the Mexicans are coming across and. Yeah, and Cartman's like yelling. He's like, Clyde, why weren't you fucking paying attention? He's like, I was enthralled with the dialogue.
Yeah. It does seem like a throwaway line, but yeah, it's the
that one and the other throwaway line that I absolutely fucking love that is still one of my all-time favorites. And I like me and my brother will say it to each other like all the time, like completely out of context, because he's the only one that gets it, is when it's the High School Musical episode. And they're like,
yes.
And they're like, what the fuck? They're like, you guys don't know what High School Musical is? Like, where the hell have you been? And like, and Craig's just like, Perot.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't even like look up from his lunch. He's like, Perot. What? Because that was when they were all stuck with the guinea pigs and the startling. And they went to like the land of the giants, Lost World, and they ended up in Peru because the American government kidnapped them and flew them down there. And they're like, Craig's just like, nope, see, we're just going to walk this way. Nice and boring. And he's like, they're like, but look at this water. Like, look at these caves. He's like, nope, not doing that. This is why everyone
want to be there. He doesn't want to do it.
He's like, this is why everyone hates you guys, because you guys do stuff like this all the time. Oh, so fucking good. God, I love that fucking show. When is the next special coming out, dude? Like, I'm jonesing for a special right now.
I'm not
I think I watched the Ozempic and the the Prime Energy one last night.
I still need to watch those because are those only on Paramount? Because I don't see them on Max. Okay.
Yeah, they're on Paramount. Max is like the old episodes, like the seasons. Paramount has all the specials.
That's how it is. That's annoying.
Yeah, you might have to sign up for that 7-day free trial, bro.
Oh, I had Paramount Plus for a bit, but then I just wasn't watching anything on it really for a while.
The only reason I have it is for South Park, and like occasionally something cool will pop up on there. Like I'll throw on like Top Gun 2. I'm like, all right. You know,
Yeah.
fucking, I'll watch that. Like, fuck yeah,
That's a
dude.
fun movie. I like that one.
2 hours of F-18 porn. Like, who doesn't want to watch that?
In a nameless and faceless enemy. They never named
Yeah.
the country, like who they are.
Nope.
Like,
Never
it
did.
Doesn't matter.
Didn't matter, dude. We're just here for Maverick and F-18s.
They're the bad guys. That's all
Yeah.
you need to know.
They're the bad guys. We're the good guys. They don't need a face or a name. Like, this ain't 88, bro. It ain't Rocky 4, okay? It's not Ivan Drago.
Yeah.
Just bad. They bad. We good.
Just disconnect yourself from that. It's
Fucking loved it, dude. What a great movie. Like, I went to see that up in like IMAX up in Randolph, where they have that, like, those moving seats. And I didn't know we booked the moving seats. And we get to the seats and I'm like, huh, these are weird. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, whatever. Like, didn't think anything of it. And then all of a sudden, like in the previews, like the seats start moving. I'm like, whoa. My wife looks at me. She's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, guess we got moving seats. She's like, oh no. And she's like, thank God we got those, because I probably would have fell asleep.
Dude, I
But we had a
loved to have
blast.
seen it that way.
Dude,
didn't
I
see
don't
it
think
until like it was streaming. But
it was so. They had like, it was so cool, because it was like basically it was just like they took like a racing simulator, a flight sim, and put like the six axis motion pistons on the seats, but like they had the fans that blew the air in your face. Like, dude, it was fucking cool. Like, would I see every movie like that? No. Am I glad I saw that movie like that? Yes, because that was very fucking fun.
Specifically for that kind of movie.
Exactly.
Because of what it is at its core. Yeah, that lends itself very well to that experience. Absolutely. But
it does.
For like stuff that doesn't involve like really fast shit, like
yeah,
to justify.
Like, I would not recommend Shutter Island.
Yeah, exactly.
In that theater, like, it's like you're running up the stairs, like you're like, Jesus Christ, I don't need to do that. Okay, we're in the room now.
I could see it working for certain horror movies if they use it sparingly, like as part of like a jump scare sort of thing, or when a particularly brutal thing happens or what have you.
Yeah, like the new Halloween movie would have been pretty cool in that. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, if they
not the newest one.
If they don't overdo it, like just here.
The original remake with Jamie Lee Curtis that came out like 4 years ago.
Oh God.
Not the one where they're all on the street going like "Evil dies tonight,"
Evil
like
dies,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was kind of corny, but the one before that was really cool.
The first out of the three was actually pretty promising.
Dude, it was. Me and my wife watched it.
Laughably bad.
It was terrifying. The first one was fucking terrifying. Like, I forgot how scary the original Halloween was until I rewatched it one night.
No, it created the whole slasher genre. Like,
well, it was so well done.
And like, John Carpenter to this day is like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna keep churning out shit now. But that one was so well done. Like, I remember like the scene where like they're inspecting the house and like the gutter like comes loose and falls and like smashes the window in. And like, I fucking like jumped out of my seat and screamed like my dog freaked out. Like,
it was a well-made, slower paced horror movie that got
had a little
roots.
Yeah, it had a little Hitchcock in it. You know what I mean? Like, it was creatively done.
And that's why the next two after that in that trilogy was so disappointing, because it was just
they just got silly
went
after
off
that.
The rails.
Yeah, like Michael Myers is like he's such a figurehead. But that's what I loved about the original remake one, was that it became like they made Michael Myers back into like that mythical, unkillable, superhuman strong, psychopathic, like whatever the fuck he was. And like, you saw him so little throughout the movie, like in the beginning, like the gas station scene, I thought was fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he just like snuffs those two, like that guy and that girl in the gas station bathroom.
Yeah.
And you just like, or I think my favorite scene of that whole movie was when they go to interview Michael Myers, like the like that guy, the two people that get killed, and they interview him and they're like stand like on that like checkerboard, like area out, like rec area, if you will. And they go up and they like hold the mask up to Michael, and like the dog starts going fucking nuts. Like, and like you don't see anything, but like everybody's like all the like freaks are like wilding out and the like everything. I'm like, it was fucking scary. Like I was actually fucking afraid. Like I was like, holy shit. I'm like, I'm gonna be. I don't really do scary movies, but this is fucking working for me.
Yeah,
and it was
they
really
hit all
good.
the right notes.
Yeah, and they just did it really well.
Well, they knew what they were doing. The second one, it had too much Michael Myers.
Yes.
And
evil dies tonight.
Just
evil dies tonight.
Yes. In the whole like, oh, it's a reunion, and we got all the people from like the first movie. They were like the survivors.
I did love the ending though of Michael Myers just absolutely fucking murdering everybody in the middle of the street that tried to step to him. Yeah, guy's like, I got a baseball bat. He's like, cool, punch you in the fucking gut and rip your heart out.
Dude, they drive that one guy who they're accusing of being the murderer of Michael Myers. Actually, they're like, that's him, and it's just some poor guy in a psych ward or whatever, and they drive him to because they're all gonna like rip him to pieces basically as a mob,
right?
And he jumps out the window of the hospital and just dies on the sidewalk.
Splats.
And then they're like, it wasn't him.
Yeah. It's like
somebody just, it's like one of the police officers like walks up and is like, no, that's not Mike Myers and Michael Myers, and like,
like, oops.
Well, evil.
It's like that Family Guy, that Family Guy clip, and like it's like Pocahontas, and like Pocahontas gets like tackled by like the Pilgrim, and he's like about to like get rapey with her, and like you just see like Pocahontas, you hear a gunshot, and Pocahontas' head explodes in the pink mist. You just hear Peter go, "Leave her alone."
Exactly.
So good.
That one's corny, and then the third one.
I didn't even watch the third one. One of my buddies who was a tremendous horror film fan, he's like huge. That's his thing. He was like, if you haven't seen it, don't watch it. And I'm like, okay, done.
Well,
because I liked the second one. It wasn't like I was like it was corny, but I did love when he was like, fucking killing all the firefighters in the beginning. That was pretty cool.
That scene at least is good, and then the ending is good just because of how ridiculous it is.
Yeah, and like what's her name there from This Is 40, the actress, she was like Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter or whatever. She's like trying to escape and ends up getting killed.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, at the window.
Yeah.
Judy Greer. That's
Judy Greer. Yeah, right. Because she was one of the voices. She did Cheryl in Archer.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Also, she was Fatty Magoo on Sunny. It's Always Sunny. She's been in a ton of stuff. Yeah,
she's been in a shitload of stuff, but I know her most through from Archer.
Sure. Yep. Yeah.
Because Cheryl was one of my she's a very talented voice actress. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
some of the shit she pulled off as Cheryl was fucking hilarious.
Oh, absolutely. She was like, yeah.
Outlaw country.
Exactly. But yeah, so the third one has less Michael Myers as well, but they try to make it so he imbues his powers onto this other kid who is dating the daughter of Judy Greer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense. So he gets to her.
And it's so dumb. He's kind of like the surrogate for Michael Myers for most of the movie. After he meets Michael Myers in a sewer, because that's where Michael Myers is living now.
Oh. Okay.
It's fucking weird, and the ending.
He just looks over. He's like, "Yeah, I live between the Ninja Turtles and Mr. Hanky." Yeah.
Basically, I would say watch it if you can, just for the laughs, and so you can
just to get I get the effect.
I'd say it's worth it for that if you've already seen the first two, just so you have the closure of it, and you will laugh a good amount because most of it is fucking dumb.
Yeah, I like I said, my buddy was just like, it was so bad. He's like, that whole like trilogy had such promise after the first one. He's like, they just fucking ruined it. And I was like, well, I'm like most things Hollywood, that's what they tend to do. They ruin things. So are we surprised? No. Do I expect anything more? Also, no. But hold on. I am going to go grab another drink. So give me 2 minutes.
I will hold down the fort.
Holdeth down thy forteth while I spruceth.
Sure thing, brother. So yeah, we went off on a bit of a tangent there. Started talking about Luigi Mangione, of course, and then that somehow turned into television and series and movies. I think some music got peppered in there. But that's the nature of the game, guys. We don't come into these episodes with an agenda other than a couple topics for the most part. And then everything is just train of thought. Yeah. What do you expect? And we're still figuring out the format and all that shit. And since this is a live stream and not like a full-fledged podcast yet, we don't have the luxury of editing where we can just take a break as we need to and then get back, pick up where we left off without having to fill in the voids, so to speak. But hope everybody's having a great week so far. It's only Monday, but and Christmas. Hey, happy holidays. I'm wearing my Die Hard ugly sweater. So I'm in the festive spirit, of course. I was supposed to pour that into my mug. So I'll do that now. Here's some ASMR for you. It's not even picking up. That's all right. But yeah, it's good to be back, guys. Both Joey and I really love doing this show, regardless of how many people watch it. It's just a good excuse for us to get together and talk shit. That's basically the premise of this show, so that's how it goes. As far as the next topic goes, I believe we do have, we're going to have at least another half an hour. I would say. But yes, I do have something else on deck as far as a official topic. Right now I'm just doing some housekeeping. But yes, good to be back, guys. And I don't know how I'm on my previous Facebook account. But I am at least on it for now while I'm on my PC. But for those of you who do want to be friends with me again on Facebook, if you aren't already on my, I guess you have to consider it an alt account right now, but it's the one I'm using on my phone. It's Ed Teach. And,
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
We're back.
I'm surprised you don't have a ugly Christmas sweater with cut off sleeves.
Nope, I don't. The only thing I have closest to like an ugly Christmas sweater is I have like a Nakatomi Plaza Christmas Party like 1988 T-shirt.
Well, I just mentioned to the stream to fill in some of that void of us not both being here. That mine is the this one.
Oh yeah, come out to the coast, have a few laughs.
We'll get together, have a few laughs. Yeah. I dated a girl who said she did a great impersonation of John McClane. This was years ago. And that was the quote she used, and she said it like this. Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs. I was like, are you trying to do Brando doing...
I was going to say,
John
it sounds
McClane
like The Godfather.
Brando, but not even good Brando. Not like exaggerating, like... come out to the coast. Like... Just hey, come out to the ghost. We'll get the
So
camera.
my wife has only ever seen Die Hard when I put it on when we're putting up the tree. So like every year when we like break out the tree, it's usually like, you know, the Friday, like either like it's usually the Saturday or Sunday after Thanksgiving. Sometimes earlier. This year we did it earlier because we were on vacation. But usually we'll put it on, and I always like clockwork. I'm like Die Hard, Christmas music, like, and we're good. We're rolling. So she's only ever seen it through that. Like she doesn't know anything about it.
She
I'm just
hasn't
like,
sat
wow.
down
Like,
to watch it.
no, and she's like, and she said to me the other day, she's like, well, like, why don't we just like sit down and watch it one day? I was like, you serious? Like, really? You'll sit down and watch Die Hard with me? Like, I got so excited because I was like, yeah, I was like, and then I remember like what happened the last time I got this excited for my wife to sit down and watch something I was interested in, which was the original, which was the well, it was the original Star Wars. So she had never seen Star Wars before. I'm talking like episode, like, you know, like New Hope,
yeah,
Empire, Jedi, you know, 4, 5, 6. Like she had never seen them, and I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like, it's one of the greatest stories ever told. Like it's so good, you gotta watch it. Like, and she's like, all right. She's like, science fiction, you know, not really my thing, but I'll certainly give it a, you know, like give it a shot. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, cool. So I get the DVDs. I borrow them from my buddy because I didn't have them. And we're watching A New Hope. And I'm like, in my head, I'm watching it and I'm like, yo, this movie is kind of fucking slow. I'm like, there is not a lot happening. And we get to the end of A New Hope, and my wife's like, I'm like, I know. I'm like, okay, it's a little slower than I remembered it,
but Empire, goddamn it.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, Empire fucking rules. It's got one of the greatest reveals in cinema history. Like, you're gonna love it. And like, and not for nothing, I said maybe I'm remembering them as a whole, not as standalone movies, because like I saw them all. So like in my memory, it's all just one big story. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, yeah, no. So like,
which is the intention, yeah.
Yeah, you got to see them all in order to appreciate it. And then we're watching. I think we get through like 40 minutes of Empire, and I didn't realize how much downtime there was like in the lead up to the Battle of Hoth. I was like, holy shit. I'm like, I'm getting fucking bored. I'm like, what the fuck? Like somebody shoot somebody. And
well, yeah, because a lot happened since we last saw our friends, and then they had to set up what was going to happen next.
Yeah, and it was like legit like 40 minutes in. And I'm like, holy shit, dude. I'm like, what the fuck? And my wife's like, and then you see the AT-AT is like, and my wife's like, let me guess. Pew, pew, pew. I need those plans. Pew, pew, pew. And I'm like, yep, pretty much. I'm like, you know what we're going to do? I said, fuck it. We're shutting this off. We're going to watch the Family Guy versions. And that's what we did. And we saved about 6 hours of time, and it was way funnier, and it was so much more fun. But but obviously she didn't get, like, she got more of the Family Guy jokes because she had seen, you know, an episode and a half, if you will, of Star Wars. But
so she understood some of the references.
Yeah, she was like, okay, yeah, that's really funny. Like, cool. Like, still just so fucking not into it at all. Like, at all. My wife is not a science fiction fan by any stretch. Like, we went to see the original Transformers when it came out in 2007, and she didn't even know what Transformers were. It's a true fucking story. She didn't know what Transformers were. She's a girl. She didn't like grow up with Optimus Prime or any of that shit. Like, had no idea, had never seen it, never heard of it.
Transformers it's not like she was born 5 years ago.
Right. She was born like, you know, she's a year younger than me. So we were right around the same age. But Transformers had already been around, but like not like they weren't marketed to like little girls, right? And like my in-laws, like my father-in-law is like big hunter, fisher. outdoorsman, like wasn't doing a ton of like Saturday morning cartoon shit, I assume.
Okay.
So, my wife had no idea what a Transformer was. She had no idea what the premise was, nothing. So we're going to see the movie, and we're driving out to Providence to see it. I'm sorry, to Seekonk to see it in like the nice theaters back then.
Oh, I used to go there too.
she's like, what's this movie about? And I was like, and I already knew like she's not a sci-fi person, so I knew like kind of like I was like not duping her, but I was being less than truthful, if you will, about what we were going to see. And she's like, well, what's it about? And I'm like, just go into it with an open mind. Just go into it. It's a movie, experience it, have fun. And she goes, all right, whatever. She goes, as long as it's not like fucking robots from outer space or something, I'll be fine. And me and like my two buddies and her like look at each other all at the exact same time. Like, are you fucking kidding? She goes, and she sees our look and she's like, what?
You sure?
What does that look for?
Transformers are?
She goes, and I'm like, she goes, don't tell me this is about fucking robots from fucking outer space. And I was like, they're not technically from outer space. She's like, oh, fuck you. And like, we're already like on the highway, like on the way there.
They're from a planet.
It was from the one of the more funny, like fucking like things ever. And we got there and she didn't hate the movie because she was like, whatever, it wasn't bad, but like, she's like, definitely wouldn't fucking watch it again. And I'm like, all right, well, that's what you're fucked up because I'm going to watch that shit about 500 more times, even though Shia LaBeouf is super annoying.
Yeah.
But again, I digress. But yeah, that was like my wife. So like, she's not a big movie buff at all. Like, I'll reference movies like, like you and I are kind of one and the same. Our entire lives could be just one big movie or show reference. Like yeah, I sent you like I sent you that Dr. Zaius meme earlier, knowing that like you're one of like probably like 6 people I know that's gonna get that. It's just a completely out of context meme. Like
yeah, the Planet of the Apes musical that Troy McClure was in, and the song that they were basically parodying was Falco's Amadeus.
Yeah, exactly. We know the exact episode. We know where we were the first time we saw it. Like, we're nerds
pretty
like that.
Damn close. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could tell you which episode and which season. But
no, I'm not good with The Simpsons like that. Way too much. Simpsons is way too much for me for that. And I wasn't that into The Simpsons. I'm that into South Park, but like The Simpsons were my first love for a cartoon. Actually, I'm sorry, that'd be a lie. Looney Tunes was my first love.
Sure.
But I mean, just like now I look back at some of the fucking classic Looney Tunes shit, and I'm like, oh my God. No wonder why I grew up to be so fucking awesome. I'm like, look at how fucking racist this shit is.
Oh, a lot of it, I think is like also like locked in the vault, quote unquote.
Oh yeah. Like Bugs Bunny, like parodying Hitler, like with the mustache and doing the salute and everything. Yep. Like just Saturday morning cartoons, guys. Welcome to America.
Yeah. And they were still so playing awesome. That like 30, 40 years later. When we were kids on reruns, just like on.
Yeah, in the 80s and 90s.
Looney Tunes was always on. All the classic stuff, and Tom and Jerry, all that stuff was on.
Yep. Like Nickelodeon, dude, was the shit back in the day. Before we found out they were like raping kids at a rate you could measure by the minute.
That didn't happen until much later, but yeah.
Yeah. They were like, the Catholic Church, huh? We'll show them. Hold my beer.
I used to be on head of the class.
Yeah. Hey, you know that girl Amanda Bynes? Let's drive her absolutely fucking insane.
What a shame.
But I know, right?
Her. That's sad.
It really is. Dude, did you see the new Britney Spears video she posted the other day? Like she keeps posting these videos.
With knives again?
No knives, but like it's Britney Spears, so you're like you can't look away because you're like it's like Britney Spears. Still would. I mean, like have to be an asshole to be like, nah, I wouldn't hit that. But and like then you like just based on her looks, then you're like, oh, by the way, that's Britney Spears. You're like, I would probably ruin my marriage for that. Like, yeah, that would be worth it.
Granted, it's not quality Britney Spears because as it turns out, her father was right.
Yeah, no shit.
And yeah, to bring it back to South Park for another reference to them.
They knew.
Yeah.
Raptus Dominus.
She has been sacrificed to a degree in that sense of like.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, dude. Like,
she was sacrificed to the juggernaut of Hollywood,
Hollywood,
media,
right? Like, like
the music industry.
How do how does one like even Justin Timberlake looks like shit these days?
I guess
you know what I mean?
I haven't kept up with him.
Check out like even he's getting
got arrested for an OUI.
Yeah, and he looks just like
gonna ruin
hanged up. Yeah. Oh, this is gonna ruin my tour.
And the cop didn't even know who he was.
Yeah, the cop's probably like 26 years old. Like, who the fuck are you? Like, Justin Timberlake. Who the fuck is that? It's like, listen, dude, I was like super cool when you were like 3.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Were you in like?
Trust me. Ask any of your aunts about me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely flicked their beans to me back when they were.
Oh yeah. They all had the posters on the wall. They're like, the first time I ever flicked my bean was to Justin Timberlake. Or, I was like, yeah, that fucking NSYNC video, man. I don't know which one, but it really did it for me. Just got my juices flowing. Yeah. I don't know. I was more of a Backstreet Boys guy, They were more my speed. I don't know why. I have
more of a Color Me Bad guy.
Ooh, there you go. Yeah, they were good too.
Because what other group had Vanilla Ice, George Michael, Kenny G? No, Vanilla Ice wasn't one of the guys. But
I mean, you're just talking about a super group. Like, stop it.
All the guys.
There's no comparing.
Like other famous singer or like musicians. But like Wish versions of them.
Yeah, like the Team U versions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, boy bands, like, I don't know, like, I wasn't, like, I guess if I had to pick one, Backstreet Boys would probably be my go-to. Because, like, 98 Degrees, even though I love Nick Lachey, they kind of sucked. I'm trying to think of the other ones. What was the one that, I don't know, my wife knows all of them. Like, that was, because she was in, like, 6th grade when they were all
How far
huge.
back, you're talking that era of them? I mean,
the original, like, I'm talking, like, we went from, it felt like a year. We went from like the Spice Girls to Britney and Christina, and then
it was
NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees. It was all within like 3 years.
Yeah.
Or 2 years.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it was all the same.
Like 96 to 98 was like just wild.
96. I see. I wasn't in the demographic for that, but my sister listened to all that shit, so I had to deal with it.
Oh yeah.
But
I
remember.
That
time era, I was still listening to Metallica, but also the hip hop of the time. That was unavoidable.
Hip hop was big in 96. Like, I remember like 96 being like a really good year. Because let's see. So 96 was, well, let's see. My song of the year in 96, hands down, was Song 2 by Blur. No questions about it.
It's that a banger.
Oh, 1000%, dude. Like, I showed my wife like the Guy Ritchie BMW, the M5 commercial with Madonna that they did, and they used that song. And my wife was like, I'm like, we're talking Guy Ritchie, like the Guy Ritchie. And
yes,
it's like,
he just movies.
Yeah, he used to make fucking like really cool BMW commercials back in the day. Like, how far he's risen.
And he was married to Madonna, so he put her in that fucking.
Yes, and like he put her in there, and like it was one of the fucking that commercial. I think that was the E39 body style for the Beamers. That was the one that made me fall in love with BMWs. Like, that was when I was like, I'm going to own a BMW someday. I'm still going to. I haven't yet, but I'm still going to buy one. I almost bought one this summer, but I was like, nope, found a different Cadillac. And,
You're like, yes,
I'm a caddy guy.
Was it German engineering? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, very fine. Very fine. Who wants a mustache ride? Yeah. But like, is she a potty pooper? Does she poop in the punch bowl? God damn it. But no, that made me fall in love with that like style, like with BMWs in general. And like that commercial was like, I was like, this fucking rules. 96 was definitely Blur song too. And then I want to say, let's see, 96 was definitely the Spice Girls. And then 97 was when it started kicking off. Like with like early 90, like late 97 was Britney and Christina. And then what was the other girl? Oh, Mandy Moore. Remember she like tried to like compete for a second? That was cute.
Yeah, now
she's
she
probably
does, like, Hallmark
she's probably the only
movies.
she's probably the only one that's still like mentally intact.
Her, and this was after that, and so when we were in that age demographic, but Hillary Duff apparently is doing very well. She just stopped doing Hollywood shit.
Have you seen
kids.
Hillary
Yes.
Duff's got a straight dump truck, bro?
Yes.
Like what?
Like, she's had a couple, at least one or two kids, and looking great.
Every black dude in existence is like, the white women are evolving. Oh no, what are we gonna do?
No, yeah, she looks amazing.
Incredible.
And
absolutely incredible.
What is didn't hear about her going nuts or having horrible drug problems? Like,
no, she has seemed to escape. Yeah. Britney, the other hand, can't say, but like, you got to be hard pressed to be like, even like if it's a purely psychotic Britney Spears and like I might get knifed in the throat when we're done, I'm still gonna have to hit it. Just
based on principle alone.
Yeah, just to say I did. Like
I brought you your "Oops, you did it again" outfit.
Yeah,
put this on. You put this on.
Like, come on, man. Like that was like I remember like sitting in middle school and somebody had the album and they opened it up and they were like showing the pictures of like Britney inside like the the album used to come with like a little booklet with the lyrics and shit. And some of the pictures, and I just remember being like, I don't know if that was the first time I ever got a boner in public, like in school, but like it's got to be close. It might have been like it was really close. If it wasn't the first, it was really close. Because I was like, holy the first you can remember. Yeah, right. Which I mean, I think would be the first. If I can't remember any of them before that, it's definitely the first. So
it's pretty. But important.
That was, yeah. And I remember that was like in like at the old middle school, waiting for the bus in the cafeteria. And I think that was like the beginning of 7th grade or the end of 6th grade. So 97, yeah, end of 97, beginning of 97.
Yeah, that
somewhere in there
makes sense because I was a grade above you. So yeah, that sounds right to me. I mean, I can look it up.
Yeah, we're gonna do the same thing. Britney Spears debut, October 23rd, 1998. So it was Baby One More Time.
Oh shit, that was my freshman year then.
May of 98 for me was the that was the end. That was end of 7th grade for me. So
May of 98.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that was the end of 8th grade for me, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, yeah. See, all the pictures are right here too. Yep. Oh, there's my memories.
There's that
with like the chunky like the chunky like cork shoes, like the heels. You know what I mean? Like, dude, so 90s. Yeah, the chunky cork wedges.
What the fuck were they were candies or something like that?
Were they candy? Yeah, something like that. Candies was definitely one of them.
That's the one that Jenny McCarthy did some ads for, I remember.
Yep. She could definitely suck the chrome off a trailer hitch. We have it on video.
Did. Yeah.
No, we have video proof. She did.
And she can also lay some carpet.
But yeah, like Baby One More Time, dude. Like I remember like that video coming out and just being like, I'm like, this isn't real life. Like this can't be real. And
yeah, because dude, think about it too. For us specifically, we're also in that age. Like she's only like a year or two older than me, and she's wearing that schoolgirl outfit.
Mm-hmm.
With the pigtails and all that shit. We're Dartmouth Public School guys, and Stang's right up the road.
Yep. And we're just thinking like, wait, did we fuck up? Should we have gone up the street? God damn it.
That's the thing. You become friends with them regardless somehow.
Yep. We all became friends no matter what.
Yes.
Yeah, it was fucking wild, dude. Like those were wild times. Then so like 98, and then you had the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, then the boy band thing like exploded. And then Tom Green, you remember Tom Green came out with
Dude, yeah,
the Bum Bum song and like
I
took over
voted for him
TRL.
he only wanted it to reach number 1 for one day, and then he retired it.
Yep.
And
And he was like,
I called
nope.
in to vote for it, or I went on AOL.
Yep, AOL, and voted for it. And it was like the power of viral, like people like, and you were just like, and that's when I think I realized that like how like fickle the mob is. You know what I mean? Like it's like you could be the greatest artist in the world, dude, and like popularity doesn't mean shit. Like how many, like we talked about it a couple weeks ago, like greatest like guitarist and all this other, like we talked about like John 5, and like how many people even know his name or who he is or what band he plays for, and yet he's one of the more well respected guitarists in all of the world. Like, you know, an instrument that is played in every country all over the world by millions of people, and this guy is like one of the ones that people like God status. And you're like,
the ones that know.
Damn. You're right, exactly. But no one knows who he is. But you ask anybody, like, who's Christina Aguilera? I mean, maybe not today, but you're like, who's Megan Thee Stallion? And they're like, oh, she's that fucking bitch that performed at Kamala Harris's rally.
Right.
Can't believe that didn't win in the election. Still, what a shock.
How did that backfire?
For real.
She assembled the Avengers for that.
I know.
One video, and that didn't work. Trump is Thanos then. And you know what? Looking back on that like movie series, I think Thanos might have had a point in eliminating 50% of all life in the universe.
I've never seen the Avengers. Like, I've never seen those movies. I'm not a comic book movie guy.
Well, that was his goal.
I tend every time I hear about like the movie, I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'd be Team Thanos in real life.
The
like,
more you think
and 50% of the world, sure.
And the thing is, his reasoning, they flesh it out too. I give them credit. Like after that was all done, the whole Thanos stuff, all the Marvel shit took a deep dive, and I'm pretty much done with all of it at this point.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how many more times you can like rehash the same movie and just put different costumes on people, but
and most, I mean, it looks like they're doing a reboot.
Well, of course they are. They're out of ideas. They don't have anything else to do. So.
I mean, they brought back Robert Downey Jr.
They're like, original ideas.
Yeah, well, they're bringing him back to be Dr. Doom when he was obviously famously for 20 years Tony Stark's Iron Man.
Yeah, no, that's stupid, but so whatever.
I think there's going to be a multiverse bullshit thing that they're going to pull on that. So I'm not interested, but Thanos had a point. I think he did. I
mean, I feel like most supervillains do.
But they actually made it like, no, to the casual viewer who's just there to see the explosions and their superheroes do their moves. They're not really thinking much of it other than he's the big bad guy. But
right,
to somebody else who's maybe actually paying attention, it's like, oh shit, he might actually have a point with what he's saying. Is he right? Maybe to do it the way that he plans to do it, maybe not so morally, but that could be ambiguous as well. So it's
open to interpretation.
Kind of leads back to Luigi shooting the CEO,
which I think is where this whole conversation started. Yeah, which again, I mean, like, even look at the guy's mugshot that they posted. Like, it's a glamour shot, for fuck's sake. Like, this guy is not who we think he is. He is not some vigilante, you killed my daughter, so I'm gonna kill you fucking hero. Like, nope, this dude is 100% a paid plant. This is a paid and bought for production.
I mean,
and look at just like
it very well could be.
And I think it's
I'm not
again,
ruling that out
I think it's a
whatsoever.
very convenient distraction for a lot of things, you know, like the fact that like Joe Biden's pardoning like child murderers and shit like that, and like or commuting their sentences, making guys eligible for parole who should never see the light of day again.
Yeah, he just took a bunch of people off death row.
Yeah, like all that kind of stuff, like, you know, and the fact that like the media is now having to admit that like, well, yeah, like, you know, we knew Joe Biden's mental, you know, capacity was on the decline, but like, you know, what the fuck were we supposed to do? Like, he's the president, you know? Like, what are we gonna do? Ask questions? Like, we're the media. Like, it's like, well, yeah, that's actually your fucking job, first and foremost, you dishonest fucks. And then they're like, I don't know why our ratings are so bad. Nobody trusts us. Like, what the fuck? And it's like, because you're a bunch of shitbags and we all figured it out.
Oh, and especially during those press conferences. Lost you there, Joe. All right, got your back.
There it is.
That's
good because you've been frozen for pretty much the whole show on my screen, but I didn't want to refresh it because last time I did that, it fucked everything up. So I was just rolling with it. So I just had a still of you like right here the whole time.
Just like,
it was, it was actually not a very, honestly, it was not an unflattering still for once, which is unique because I feel like every time I end up with like a still of me, it's like, I'm like half fucking like all fucking retarded.
Yeah, like when they do the in the Simpsons episode when he grabs the Venus de Milo gummy off the girl's butt.
Oh my god!
Like Mr. Simpson, no, and he's like, and it's the video quality. There's like
so fucking
all kinds
good.
of artifact. It's clearly frozen.
Like we have, like so I have this joke. I have this joke at work with one of my lieutenants who's like huge South Park fan, Simpsons fan, and like he gets all my like stupid little Simpsons references. And one day, like something happened, whatever, this guy was getting escorted off the block in cuffs and he was going to SEG. And I'm just standing there and like they cuff him up and they're taking me like, all right, let's go walk this way. And I just go, take him away, toys. And he goes, and he looks at me and goes, just call us toys. And I was like, shut up, Lou.
Shut up, Lou. Do what
like it was just it was so fucking funny. And now it's like a running joke between us. Like every day he's like, I'm gonna say it because now we have body cameras. So like if we say anything like that, it gets recorded. Like it could be actually like it could be like used in court, and we're like, yeah, that'd be awesome. Like me being like, bake them away, toys. Like
if the judge gets it.
If the judge gets it, the judge can be like, wow, these fucking guys. They know.
Hopefully he doesn't say, I sentence you to kiss my ass.
Yeah. I'm just gonna send him in the back and be like, don't you hate pants?
Yeah. Homer just burns his pants anyways.
That had to be one of my all-time favorite episodes.
Yeah, when
Krusty
dark.
Basically became like Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, somewhat like that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Or like a Bill Hicks.
Yep. And he was like, yeah, I see this money, fuck money, burn it. And like they burn it. And he's like, this is the root of all evil. Everybody burns the money. He's like, oh man, I really hope he tells us to burn these pants. I fucking hate these things. He's like, comes out, was like opening line. He's like, so anyway, I was in Springfield the other day. Don't you hate pants?
Yep.
It was just so
burn our pants.
It was just so stupid, but it was like, dude, so classic Simpsons, man. I just, dude.
Back when they had good writers.
Yeah, I know. Back before like Hank Azaria got a fucking hair across his ass about being a poo and like, oh, I'm so sorry, I perpetuated stereotypes. It's like, bro, like I walk up to my liquor store all the time and I'm like, and like the guy's like every day, the guy's like, thank you, come again, and I'm like, thanks, a poo.
It's especially now. But yeah, that one guy wrote that or made that one like documentary about being Indian American and
of course Hank Azaria, he had to play the whole like, oh, I'm such an in touch Hollywood liberal, like I understand the plight of people. It's like, no, fuck you don't.
No, he hasn't.
You're fucking loaded, you fucking dickbag. You live in Malibu. Shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know shit about fucking plight, you rich fuck.
And Apu was
And you know
actually
what?
treated with
Good for you.
respect as a character, pretty much always. Yes, he's
Yeah.
a stereotype, but he's the stereotype of a hardworking Indian person who
Yeah, you're right.
immigrated here
And why do stereotypes exist, Trav?
because
Because
based
they're
on
real.
truth.
they're
Exactly.
based on truth. They exist. That shit's
oh my
real.
God, it's like
You know? It's like, you know, like oh man, I wish I could say it. Like, well, I can't say it. So like the other day I was walking into work into my prison, and my prison's like an open air one, whatever. So like I interact with convicts like everywhere. Like there's no getting away from them.
mm-hmm.
So I'm just walking into like where I'm going to my post where I'm going, and convict walks by me and he's like looking at we have clear bags because, you know, security.
Yep.
And they're looking at my bag like, oh, what's in there? I'm like, yo, bro, don't worry about it. There ain't no fried chicken and watermelon in here. Like, keep it pushing. And they're like, damn. I'm like, and I'm like, but there is fried chicken in here. So like, seriously, like you come next to me, I'm gonna punch you. And they're like, and they just start laughing. They're fucking dying laughing. Like, it's comedy, dude. Like, everybody knows like stereotypes and like subtle racism is really funny. You know, nobody understood that better than Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
You know, and like they made millions off of it. And I mean, granted, it also drove Chappelle to quit. Like,
but he's back.
He's like, yeah, but he's back because guess what? That fucking listen, just because you don't want to participate doesn't mean the shit wheel will stop turning. Like, there's always going to be the grifters and the people who make money off of like the shitty stuff that nobody else like. And you like, you want to feel above that. Like, cool, man, you can feel above that all you want. You don't want to make money off of that. That's you. That's what you want to do. By all means, go nuts. Someone else is though, just so you know. Someone else is going to step right into your spot and take that money that you could have been earning. So just because you're not doing it doesn't mean the money's not getting put out. It's not, you're not ending whatever it is you think you're earning.
Be there, but
yeah,
for somebody else.
Exactly.
Just like,
you know,
it's like, really.
It's like when you get rear-ended on the highway, take the ambulance ride. You know, it's like, it might take a couple years, but just think about it as this, like, you get rear-ended on the highway, you're not really hurt, but you say, fuck it, like, my back hurts, fuck it, let's go take the ambulance ride, go to the PT.
Guy, his name's Ken Levine.
Yeah, you know, Rob Levine, bro, all the heavy hitter, you know, you know, go, like, just think of it as, my buddy put it to me this way one time, he goes, think of it as you were walking down the sidewalk, and there was a stack of $15,000 in cash just sitting there. Do you pick it up, or do you just keep walking and let the guy behind you pick it up? And I'm like, it's a fair point. Granted, I mean, I didn't pick it up because I was too lazy. But also, whatever. Like, I didn't want to go down that route. I knew the girl who rear-ended me through like a friend of a friend. I was like, you know what? Let's just not make this worse for anybody. So anyhow.
It's a different circumstance. If it's a stranger, then it's like, oh yeah,
the state trooper that was there thought it was hilarious because we were talking, and she's like, "Oh, where you?" I'm like, "Where you from?" And we're just going back and forth. Where you from? Where you from? Oh, shit, I used to live over there. Oh yeah. Who's it? Oh, you're friends with this one? Oh my god, that's like one of my best friends. Like, you shitting me? Holy shit! Like, oh my god, I remember you. Yeah, okay, yeah, blah blah blah. And like, the state trooper was like, seriously. And we're like, long story. And like, and then we leave, and I'm like, all right, hey, good to see you again. Yeah, you too. Bye. And this trooper's just fucking dying laughing.
He's like, well,
this
never happens.
This never ends like this. He's like, what the fuck is going on? But it was a very wholesome experience. It was funny.
Well, at least
but yeah, I did get rear-ended on 24 one time. It was funny.
I mean,
it's a true story.
That's why they're called accidents.
Yeah. And she's like, sorry. She's like, my foot slipped off the pedal. Like, I went to hit it, and I had flip-flops on, and I was like, been there, done that. Can't blame you. But getting rear-ended is fucking loud, dude. Like, I don't think anybody really tells you, like, you think when you get rear-ended, like, it didn't do really any damage to the car, but god damn was it fucking loud.
Yep.
Jesus fuck.
I mean, they all are. Whether you're receiving or providing.
Yeah. Luckily, I mean, I'd hit my hazards, and I was like waving like this, like to slow down because the traffic on 24 was just coming to a dead stop in front of me for no reason. So I'm like trying to give everybody as much warning behind me as possible. And she saw the warning, but she's like, sorry, my foot slipped off. I'm like, we weren't quite stopped. Like I wasn't dead stop.
Mm-hmm.
We were still rolling. But yeah, it was pretty funny though.
Clipped you?
Oh yeah, she clipped me good. I mean, lifted my whole ass right off the ground. I felt that shit. I was like, whoa! Like, got her nose under me. Miraculously, like minimal damage to either car. That was crazy.
No shit.
Yeah, fucking robust little fucks. And like sometimes it's so funny because like ever since then, especially now, because like I do a ton of like sim racing. I have to like remember when I'm on the highway, I'm not in my simulator, and I just can't use my bumper to like nudge somebody forward when they're not going fast. Like when they're doing 60 in the left lane and I'm like, I gotta move, and they're not moving. I can't, like, my instinct is just to like nudge them.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
and also be like right up their ass so you can get in their drift. And
yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta get in their draft. I'm like, oh, let's go. Come on, we're going to the front, bitch.
Shake and
bake. There's just nowhere to go. You're on fucking 140. It's 2 lanes packed. Like, what do you want me to do? Like,
somebody's going.
I don't know.
Into the
do
middle,
something different. Get out of my way.
Side. Either way.
Jesus fuck.
Either way, this isn't ending well.
I mean, I really honestly believe that we should 100% allow bumpers to be used in a minimalist way. Like, you should be able to just love tap the person in front of you to like voice your displeasure a little bit.
Let's put all cars with the tire shit like around bumper
like the go-karts.
Well, like on
Seacon Grand Prix.
Sure, yeah, some kind of bumper, like a literal bumper.
Yeah,
around.
I'd be fine with that. I'd be totally fine with that.
Yeah,
yeah. I think aggressive driving needs to be taught, not discouraged, because I feel like people who drive aggressively, at least aggressive defensive, are better drivers than people who I'm going to do 5 miles an hour below the speed limit because
I totally
I'm being
agree.
safe.
That's
and it's like,
anytime I see an out-of-state plate,
oh
I'm
God,
like, Jesus Christ! Especially certain states, like go back there.
If you see a Rhode Island plate, just run, get away from that car as fast as you can.
See a lot around here.
Yep, worst drivers on the planet. Not even close. You see a white Altima with a missing hubcap and a banged up quarter panel and a Rhode Island plate. That thing is a weapon of mass destruction. Get the fuck away from it.
You might die.
It's almost guaranteed to be like a 26-year-old single mother.
The worst.
You know, just there is nothing good coming of being around that person.
Carton of Newports and
yeah, like shit's gonna go real fucking sideways real quick if you're around that car.
Yeah, it could be your car that goes sideways.
Yeah, facts. You'll be lucky if it's not. And she'll get out and be like, "What the fuck?"
Absolutely.
Why'd you cut me off?
It's totally your fault. I spilled my fucking latte.
It's like, bitch. Oh God.
Yeah, don't
get
me started on that.
It's like you literally drove through the median 300 yards and then decided to come back onto the highway.
It pulled out right in front of me.
Like, oh my God, like this is crazy. Where did that fucking guardrail come from?
It didn't use its blinker.
It's female drivers, no survivors.
And all bets are off if they're also Asian, I guess, too.
Ooh, no, don't even get me started on the Asians. Yeah, those are bad. Asian women, oh my God. Well, I mean, Family Guy did the whole thing about it, so.
Yeah, good luck, everyone else. And
I'm going to change lanes. I'm going to change 4 lanes with no blinker. Good luck, everyone else.
And then just like the biggest accident you can imagine happens right behind.
Again, stereotypes come from somewhere. Yes. Sorry, I didn't make the rules. I just live by them.
Exactly.
Don't blame me. Well, blame your college professor for convincing you that everybody in the world was equal.
What a mistake.
What a waste of money.
Jesus Christ.
Listen, you want to pay me $30,000 a semester to lie to you, I can do that just fine. Just give me the money instead. No interest.
I'll gladly do that for a bunch of years until I get tenure.
Yeah, and I won't even make you buy my shitty book that we're not going to use. I'm only making you buy it just to bump my sales up.
No, fuck that.
Fuck that shit.
Well,
Fucking
Joe, I
assholes.
got to use the bathroom. If you want, I can come back and we can wrap it up with another segment.
Yeah, why don't you use the bathroom? I'll make a spruce.
All right,
Be a
sounds
little
good.
bit of be a dead air for about 5 minutes.
Sure, yeah, I'll just put it to the title.
Yeah, put it to the title.
All
Let's take a quick 5, and then we'll come back and wrap it up.
All right, take 5, folks.
All right, I like it.
All right, I am back.
All right, look at this. Look at us. Look at us. Here we are.
Here we
We're
are.
back at it, baby.
Getting
On Christmas Eve.
on the
been a
eve
great-
of Christmas Eve. Yeah.
The eve of Christmas. It's been a good show though. I've enjoyed this. I missed it last week because I had a lot to say. And I was home last week on Monday, but I was sick and didn't realize it coming off coming off my vacation. I was so run down. Like I hadn't slept. I was all fucked up. And like Monday and Tuesday night, like, dude, I had like those like crazy hallucinogenic dreams you have when you're sick. Like it was my whole Monday and Tuesday night. Like I had to have had some sort of bug and just not felt like any physical effects from it. But goddamn, if I slept, dude, it was crazy. Sucked. So I don't think I was in any condition to do the show last week. That was what I was getting at. I can't hear you. You muted yourself.
There we go.
There it is.
Yeah, somehow that came out. Oh, wait. All right. But yeah, I wasn't sure if you were even home or not. I just didn't want to bug you because I knew you were on vacation. So I was like, hey,
I almost texted you Monday afternoon just to say, like, hey, like, you want to hit it tonight? And I was so sleep deprived at that point. Like I was borderline delusional. And I was like, I don't know if today's a good day. I just needed a day to rest. Like, yep. you know that like we joke about it. It's like, oh, I need a vacation from my vacation. That's how I felt. Like you come off of like 7 straight days of just fucking nonstop drinking from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. And
I mean, again,
you need a break.
That's not a stereotype, but it's a cliche. And cliches also exist because
they originated from somewhere. Yeah.
So I totally get the whole vacation from the vacation thing because it's like, okay, yeah, you know what? Shit.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Like I was definitely like sick with like something more than just like fatigue. Like I had something else going on. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. Well,
it was
gave us
fucking me up.
Well, at least you're here now, and
I'm here now, and that's old news.
We're getting it done. But on to new news, which happened before we even took the break, or at least during the break. Joey, what's up with these drones?
Dude, the feds are just fucking with us at this point. Again, I think this is just all like a very convenient cover story to distract people from the fact that Joe Biden is literally letting child murderers get parole.
Well, these sightings started happening before that, I believe.
Slightly before. Like a couple of days before. But like if you looked at the back page of the, it's like you got to go back to like, think back to like 9/11 era news, right? Where like you could have the front page of the newspaper was like, blah, blah, blah. We do X, blah, 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 whatever. And then like you flip to like page 16 and you're like, oh, here's an article about what's really going on, like buried back here. Because the headline was to give you, it's all just been like one big fucking head fake, dude. Like there's no fucking way the federal government doesn't know about drones. And like, I mean, I'm talking like Amazon drones. They're not anything like, whoa, crazy.
Well, yeah, what's being reported, and from what I've seen of the footage too, in certain cases, these certainly are not those. It's my belief that this is all testing. This is military.
It could very well be that. So it's either the federal government knows that it's taking place and they're allowing it to happen, or it's the federal government that's doing
it. Yes. I'm saying I'm fully behind the theory that this is all testing, but they're all just being big, bloated, red-faced guy. There's nothing to see here. It's just a fucking plane. It's like, Well, that plane is just hovering, and then it just shot off 3 smaller.
Well, yeah, I'm
ones
sorry,
of it.
sir, but that's not acting like any fucking plane I've ever seen. I don't know what kind of planes you guys have, but that ain't one like I got on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some are being reported as being as large as sedan cars, and also not making any noise. If you know anything about drones, and I'm not an expert on them, I know a little bit. I
I
don't
am
fly
not.
one. I don't own one, but
I had one for about 5 minutes and then it got stuck in my tree.
well, for something that large to be propelled up and be able to hover and fly, would require these specific types of batteries that I forget the name of, but they use them mostly in filming when they're using like a very nice, like an IMAX camera on a drone.
Mm-hmm.
They can only fly for a few minutes before they have to come down. These are report and footage of them hovering up there for minutes.
So I guess it would depend on how
Several
lightweight
minutes.
the frame is, because like, so the drone I had ran off of, it was one like lipo battery, or it might have even been a nickel cadmium battery, like an NIC battery.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a rechargeable battery, like something you'd put, like same kind of battery you would put in like a digital camera,
Yeah.
or something along those lines. And the problem that I had with the drone, and the reason why I struggled with it so much, was because it wasn't that it wasn't easy to fly, it was that it was so light that the slightest breeze would move it. So you were constantly fighting like the wind.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was a breezy day, and I mean, this thing was only, I mean, I'm talking like pretty small,
Yeah.
drone wise. I think I still have it somewhere.
So it's light.
And it was very lightweight.
So the
Very
wind, easy
easy
like
to get kicked around.
You have to compensate for that.
Yeah, and like that's what got it stuck in the tree, and then I got it down, and then it broke, and the propellers broke, and I was like, all right, cool, whatever. But everything's like super lightweight on these things. So, and now like I look at it, like know what I know about my RC cars and the stuff that I drive with those, how powerful the batteries we put in those are, and how not really heavy they are. I mean, realistically, the only weight that drone is lifting is the battery. Because the rest of the frame is basically, I mean, it's weightless. I mean, we're talking ounces.
Right.
You know, maybe a bigger one, you might get a couple of pounds out of it. But with the size of the impellers, the RPMs, and everything else, all you're really lifting is the battery. So that's where I guess like the whole drone thing gets kind of funny. Like that's why they're so fast and efficient. And you know, like you see the videos of them in like Ukraine, like dropping grenades on motherfuckers and shit. Like, and it's kind of fucking scary when you think about it.
The weird thing about what's happening now with these sightings is how varied they are, and how unconventional they seem. Like the ones that are the size reported to be the size of sedans. Think of like a Predator drone, but it's hovering.
Right.
And it's about that size, because a Predator drone is about the size of a car, and it's not making any sound. Small drones, with like the quad propeller systems, even a small one makes a good amount.
You can
of
hear
noise.
it. Yeah, you can hear the hum.
There's no sound coming from these, and then you see smaller ones shooting out from them, in some cases. And then where are they going? Well, their lights fade out eventually. Are they flares? Like what? Being shot off by this thing.
Yeah, it's
so. I'm not saying the technology isn't there for us to be able to do it, but it's like
people have to remember too when it comes.
The government should just be like, yeah, it's either us or it's. In some cases, they said we don't know what it is.
Yeah, either we don't know what it is or it's us. And I'm like, well, Occam's razor. I'm going to say you guys know it was you. So.
Especially
Fuck
given
off.
where all these sightings are happening, it
Correct.
is starting to. They have started to come up closer to us.
Yeah, they got up to like Jersey, I think.
Yeah, that's where most of them been seen, but they've been seen a little further down south from there, and also a little bit further north. And then also, I've heard of a.
Where was somebody I was talking to? Oh, one of my buddies was saying he saw one the other day. He was hunting. He was in his tree stand. And said he saw one, and he was filming it, and he was like, "What the fuck is this?" And this is one of my good buddies who's like ex-military. You know what I mean? Like has a pretty good handle on. He's not some space cadet tinfoil hat wearing weirdo. Like he was just like, "Dude, what the fuck is that?"
So
Like, and he
he's
filmed
probably
it.
seen drones before, and he's like, "That's uncommon
Yes.
in its behavior." Sure.
People need to realize too, like the United States military has been utilizing drones since like as far back as Vietnam.
Yeah,
Which
in one form and another. Like, yeah, the technology
is obviously different now, but like we had UAVs in Vietnam, which is kind of crazy to me to think that, we had that technology in the fucking 70s, but I guess maybe, yeah, I mean, whatever. We're always, that's 50 years ago now. Like,
well, look at the leaps in everything since then.
well, that too. And we always know the military is a good 30 to 40 years ahead of the public, right? And technologically.
I would hope so.
I mean,
Otherwise, what are we even fucking doing as Americans?
what are we funding? Why is 50% of our budget going to this? Jesus Christ.
You even want to make it great again.
Yeah. God damn. Thought we were turning American boulders into shoulders. No, the RFK memes fucking. Have you seen those?
Oh yeah.
The RFK memes, like, it's like you open the fridge and it's like, don't you dare think about touching that aspartame.
Mm-hmm.
Like oh my god, dude, they're fucking great. But
they're funny.
Yeah, no, the drone thing has been fucking crazy. Again, I honestly think it's a coordinated head fake of some sort to throw us off. Because like you said, dude, like, why would they all of a sudden just start like flying drones? Like, we're in the middle, like, end of an election cycle. We have a transfer of power coming in. We know they're going to try to pull some slick shit before January 20th. Like, not that it's going to matter. Trump's getting sworn in, but like, we know there's the October surprise didn't work. So now, like, so what's next? Like, we know they're not just going to go quietly. You know what I mean? Like, so I can't help but feel like in the back of my head, just like the skeptic in me is like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
This drone story, it's too captivating. It's too interesting to the median news consumer.
Yeah, because it's like, well, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, and they're like, what do you mean?
I get
it's like a couple years ago, they were like, they literally told us that, like, yeah, aliens are real, and everybody was like, yeah, whatever, dude. Who gives a shit? Did you see what fucking Trump said about fucking dead World War II soldiers? He called them losers and suckers. And we're like,
it still blows
they
my
literally
mind
just said aliens were real, and no one wants to touch that.
Barely anybody said anything about it. Like,
anyone. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, they pretty much came out and were like, yeah, the CIA killed JFK. And everybody's like, yeah, whatever. We knew. Duh. Anyway, got any more brain busters for us today? Like,
brain buster.
Rizzuto.
Yeah. Brain
buster.
You made a great pun and didn't even realize it.
I'm a poet and I didn't even realize it.
But yeah, the people that would say whatever about him would be like, yeah, his fucking nephew or whatever is an asshole.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like, oh, his fucking nephew's a dick, so who gives a shit? Fucking asshole. Fucking probably deserved it. Probably should have killed more of them.
He hates fat people.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. It's like, oh god, yeah, I know. America sucks so bad when all of our like heroes had fucking ripped biceps and six packs. Like, yeah, god,
dude,
so 80s, terrible.
That's why America should go back to being like an 80s action movie like mentality. Like
100%, dude. Just kick ass and take names.
Unapologetic, like, just
like, just walk in and be like, I'm here to fuck boy pussy and chew bubble gum, and I don't see any bubble gum.
Exactly. Fucking A. They live. Oh, I just bought 2 shirts based off of that. One's a remake of the flannel that he wears in
nice.
Specifically in that scene, and another one is like all like the propaganda stuff. So it's like obey, work, consume.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. But yeah, it's just like, dude, it's so fucking silly. Like, I don't know. People just get so fucking worked up over this shit. But like, it's like they give you like real shit every once in a while. And that's like how you know, like how you can kind of measure like how retarded the general public is. It's like, hey, like, so everybody's been pretty interested in this for a long time, and like you guys might care to know this, but like, yeah, actually, the U.S. government did have something to do with JFK getting killed, and they actually might have been the ones that killed him, and also aliens are real. And they're like, I don't give a flying fuck about that. Did you say that North Carolina wants to make pronouns illegal? And you're like, no, I didn't see that. And they're like, well, they do. I saw it on Reddit once in this thread. And you're like, huh?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, that's what we're concerned about. I don't give a shit about your presidential assassinations and your aliens. Fuck you. You're like, really? You don't care about any of that? They're like, no. Trump wants to make being transgender illegal and wants to put us in death camps. It's like, well, based off this conversation, that actually doesn't sound so bad now.
And that's one of those rare occurrences where like the mainstream media was putting out that stuff, like truly monumental news, and in the government, no less, is saying, yeah, this is all true, or as far as we're admitting it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're preoccupied with all that identity politics bullshit. That's
Naturally,
what's more important.
Because that's all they have. You know, without that and raw emotion, they don't have anything.
Unless those aliens are trans and non-binary, I don't want to hear their opinions on that.
Well, would you welcome the aliens to Earth? Depends. Are they going to be supportive of the LGBTQ P minus plus 72 Sixers community?
Are they allies?
Are they going to be allies to us? Are they going to call me Latinx?
Yeah.
Because if they call me Latina or Latino, I'm going to lose my fucking shit.
I want to abolish Latinx as a thing. Like, just get it out of the lexicon, get it out of the zeitgeist.
I don't think anybody except the most diehard, insufferable assholes still use it. Like, I'm talking like, I think like AOC might still use it, and that's kind of it.
Her and people like her.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Insufferable assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Like
not
you
all
and I
of them have a great rack.
You and I are assholes, but we're not insufferable. Like, we'll listen to you, let you talk.
I think we're both very personable and charismatic. We have a good time when we're out and about.
Oh, absolutely.
I make friends wherever I go, and I don't bring up politics when I'm just hanging out, really.
You know, it's funny. I went on this. So, like, normally, like, my usual, like, around here, especially, like, my go-to is, like, political shit. Like, I've got my, like, 10 million Trump t-shirts, hats, like, all this stuff. I went on this vacation. I think I wore one Donald Trump shirt the entire time I was there. And it wasn't because I wasn't, like...
enthusiastic?
I wasn't enthusiastic about it. I just think I just didn't want to... I didn't want to invite that conversation in. I wanted to happen organically. Like, I didn't want somebody to see my t-shirt and then talk to me. Yeah, I wanted to like have it like happen like kind of more organically, and it did. And I can tell you what,
you first, and then you're like, oh
yeah,
if it comes
and like, and a lot of people were a lot of people, like, it happened in a couple of instances, and I could tell they weren't Trump people, but they were like, but I respect it. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, oh, like, you're a Trump. I'm like, yeah, man. Like, I'm a fucking, like, because they just thought because I was Massachusetts, Boston. Like, you know, we tell everybody, yeah, I'm from just south of Boston. And they're like, oh, okay. They're like, and they think like, oh, yeah, Massachusetts, liberal. I'm like, nah, fam. Nah, that ain't it, bro. I like NASCAR and guns. Okay. Like, I like freedom and freedom of speech.
Exactly.
You know, and they were like, oh, it kind of caught people off guard. So it was kind of funny, but it was nice, like, not having one political debate at any point for a whole week was like kind of refreshing. It's kind of nice.
Sure. Yeah. Actually, me not having access to my second Facebook account, granted me a lot of that because I haven't seen a lot of any of that shit until I restarted my computer tonight in preparation for this, and then I was like, oh,
Lo and behold, there she
last
blows.
time I couldn't even go onto the Facebook page. It wouldn't load
Yeah.
at all. And now it's already loaded into that account. Like, okay. But
Interesting, isn't it?
didn't see any of that. It was a nice refreshing break. And I can also relate to what you just said. It happened to me recently. I was out at karaoke one night at a local place doing my thing.
What is your go-to karaoke song? Like one karaoke song, because I did karaoke for the first time on a cruise ship this vacation in front of like my whole family. My wife filmed it, which I'm not proud of. Well, I want to. What's your go-to first? What's your what?
The one I've probably been doing
because I feel like you got like you're. I feel like you're more musically inclined than I am, so I feel like you'd be better at it than I would.
Well, I get told a lot that I'm great, but I'm like, thank you. But this is karaoke. That's like being the smartest kid with Down syndrome, to quote Ryan Reynolds from Waiting.
Yes.
But I appreciate
also, great movie, 2006.
I appreciate them
great movie.
Appreciating me. But I guess the one I've been doing the longest is Rebel Yell by Billy Idol.
Oh, sorry. So that takes like some actual, like you're either doing it so shittily that everybody loves it because it's so bad, or you're actually pretty good at it.
Right.
So I'm gonna go on the latter and say you're probably pretty good at it, because my karaoke experience has been, well, it's been two songs. Give Me the Loot by Biggie.
All right.
Or Party Up by DMX. Which 10 years ago at Wonder Bowl I could get away with because people weren't filming shit like they do today, and I'm not going to get fired because I'm a white kid just screaming the N-word into a microphone 40 times over the course of a song, which I didn't write. I just happen to know every word to it, and I know it, and I do it, and I do it really well. I do Give Me the Loot really well.
I'm sure you do.
I do. It's actually pretty fantastic. If you've never got to see it, someday I hope maybe you'll get to see it.
Dude, we'll make that happen.
But it's tough to do nowadays because in public, people say like, "Oh, white guy, Biggie, this is gonna be good," and like, boom, next thing you know, I'm on TikTok, and my fucking work is calling me and being like, "What the fuck is this?" Like,
you just said,
like, sir, you just said the N-word 76 times in 3 minutes and 47 seconds. So I'm like,
with the hard R.
I didn't write it. Like,
but you didn't have to use the hard R.
I was just reciting what the great, poet Biggie Smalls said. Mm-hmm. But no, this last one I did fucking House of Pain, Jump Around.
Oh, there you go.
Classic white boy rap song
from Boston too.
Yep. My thing is like with cruise ships is like, so my experience on cruise ships with karaoke is there's two types of people. There's the type of person that's not very good at it, but thinks they're really good. And then there's the kind of person that's like there's always that one guy that's like, or a girl, and they're always like, hey, like, so they didn't have the song I wanted to sing, but like, I'm going to be singing this song on an audition for The Voice. Do you guys mind if I just do it a cappella? And you're like, kill me now. And you're like, God damn it. Like, this, fuck off. Like, no, like, come on, man. Don't use this as your personal fucking audition stage. Like, whatever.
Some people are like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's like the people that are actually really good. And there's always like one African-American chick on every cruise ship that I've ever been on that gets up and just like absolutely like just does Ella Fitzgerald. And you're like, okay, saw that coming. Like it never fails. Like it's every trip. And they usually do it pretty good, which is fine. And then there's guys like me who I just happen to know every word to this song, but also I'm not a live performer. I don't get paid to perform. Probably gonna fuck it up a little bit, but
You're having
we're gonna
fun.
have a good time. We're gonna have a good time because like I'm the guy that'll leave the stage and go in the crowd, and you know what I mean, like
Yep.
shove the mic in people's faces and like you got to do crowd. You got to do crowd work in karaoke, man. It's all about crowd work. Like no one actually wants to hear you fucking sing. Like the people that think they're good are usually the worst ones. And the ones that suck are usually the best ones because they know they suck and they're just like, I don't give a shit. Like, fuck you. Like,
well, yeah. And you were just naming all the types that you've seen. I've been doing it for 20 years now. And I've seen those. But mostly it's, the people that are either, good or decent at it or like great and are humble. Or they're the ones that are conceited and they think that they're God's gift.
Yeah, like they think like
whether they're good or not.
Yeah, it's like, bro, like not gonna lie, dog, but like your range, it ain't there.
Yeah, you can't do
like if I was Randy, it was gonna be a no from me, dog. Like,
absolutely.
Like, don't get me wrong, get up there and have some fucking fun. But like I did it, like my whole family was in the bar, like in the karaoke lounge that night, and the energy was really low. Like everybody was singing like I've got friends in low places. And you're like, yeah, and it's like, okay, dude, like this is some riveting fucking karaoke shit. And you get up there and you do fucking House of Pain, jump around. And I got like 8-year-old kids fucking going ape shit, like dancing on tables and shit. And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like,
well, yeah, and then there's the other category of people that just get up there and don't care one way or another. They're just having fun.
Well, that's the thing, and that I think is the best category of person. Don't care how they sound.
I'm like,
don't give a shit. Just here to have fun, man. Like, and that's what it's all about.
I did a new song for me the other night, and I don't think I did that great, but people enjoyed it. I had a good time. I didn't give a shit. I was just like, hey, yep, thanks,
dude. Listen, man, I got a buddy of mine. One of my buddies, I used to play Beirut with all the time, and he would miss Beirut tournaments every couple of months. Like he'd have to miss a Beirut tournament and be like, what do you like? Why did you miss it? He's like, oh, I got a karaoke competition. I'm like, what? And he's like, well, yeah, first prize for that is $1,500. First prize for this is like 130. So I'm going to go do that. And I'm like, did you win? He's like, yeah, I've won like the last 4. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Okay.
And you're like, oh, okay. And his go-to like game-winning like dunk on the crowd song was "Down with the Sickness" by Disturbed, and I'm like, bruh, I'm like, you got to be wicked. Like that's really fucking hard to pull off. And I watched him do it one night, and I was like, didn't know you had it in you, bro. Like, good shit, Drew. Like, didn't know you had it in you. Like, holy shit, it was fucking incredible, and he was really good at it. And I'm like. If you thought it, but I guess he used to be like a front man in a band for a while or whatever, so made sense. But anyway, it was wicked funny because I didn't know people did karaoke that seriously. I thought it was just like something like Asians and drunk people did, you know?
Well, both, but they're not mutually exclusive.
No, not at all.
No, yeah, I've done a couple competitions. The one I did the best in was years ago. It was at Hibernia.
I was gonna say Hibernia.
Yeah.
Because I think the last time I was at Hibernia, somebody did jump around on karaoke, and it brought the fucking house down.
Yeah,
and that was when I had the idea. I'm going back like minimum of 15 years, minimum. And this kid, I knew the kid. He was from I knew him from BCC at the time. Why I was at Hibernia, I don't know, but he did jump around on karaoke, and I was like.
It's
dude, tore it
songs,
down,
man.
It gets everybody lit, bro.
And you don't even have to be good at it either. It's the music itself, the song.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's so
it carries itself. It carries itself.
It absolutely does. But yeah, in that competition, it was like a tournament thing. Yeah, it was like week by week, and then the finals. I made it to the finals, and you couldn't sing. You could
same song twice.
You could pick one during the finals to repeat because everyone got to do 2 in the finals.
Yep.
So you could do it then. But otherwise, no repeats. I came in second. I forgot what I did. It was probably Rebel Yell and maybe Three Little Pigs, or I might have done like
Oh, Three Little Pigs is great.
that's one I'm probably the
The
most
Green
famous
Jelly.
for. Yeah.
I love that song. Fucking, we used to play that at Knuckleheads all the time, dude. That was one of Stoney's favorite songs. Little pig, let me in.
Not by the hair of my chinny ginger. I'm buffing, blow your house in. Yeah.
Such a fucking classic, dude. God, that fucking song. Like so many people would get so mad when that song would come on because they knew it was because it's kind of long.
It's fairly long.
And everybody would sing along to it who knew it, and everybody who didn't know it hated it.
What the fuck is this?
They're like, what is this shit? It was like putting on fucking Particle Man.
Yeah, like
does all the things a particle can. Yeah, they might be giants. You're like, it's like fucking comedy music. Like, what the fuck is this?
I mean, essentially it is. But
yeah,
I take great pride in doing that song well. But
that is a fantastic fucking pick, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I would not have picked that one for you at all. So that's.
Oh, I've been doing it for a long time.
Dude, apparently I've been missing out. Like, you gotta let me know when you're going to do it again because I want to see that shit.
I didn't do it this past Friday, but I usually do it by request now because I've done it so much. So if somebody asks for it, I'll do it. But that night, whatever I did, I ended up coming in second, and the girl that won was Samantha Irving, who...
The girl who's in WWF?
Yes.
Okay.
She won, because she's from New Bedford.
Yeah.
So she was there. She's a great singer. If I had to lose to somebody...
Yeah, well, obviously she's talented. She's in the WWE, or was.
She went on to America's Got Talent after that, like a year or two later. She made it to TV. She didn't win.
Right.
That got her foot in the door with WWE, and now, she just left there because she wants to pursue singing again, like more seriously.
Good for her.
Yeah. But again, if I had to lose to anybody, at least, hey, shit, she's from she fucking made it.
Yeah, it's like it's like showing up to like Providence College back in the day, and you're like playing 1-on-1. You're like, oh, I lost to this guy. Like, who's that guy? I don't know. Some guy, Lamar Odom. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some bum or URI, whatever it was. He's like, yeah, I don't know, just some fucking guy on the basketball team, but whatever. Should have beat him, Then you like find out, I was like, oh, that's actually 3-time world champion Lamar Odom. You're like, oh, got it. He dated a Kardashian. How nice.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
such an exclusive group of people that have dated Kardashian.
Very small. Very small. It's like Mr. Josefina's penis. It's especially small.
Oh, so such a smaller penis. You American have such a large penis.
Such a big penis.
Oh, bigger penis.
Mr. Josefina, he assured me my penis was the biggest of them all. It was especially large. Oh my God.
That day I grew not only in width, but length. I meant girth, but yeah.
I knew where you're going with it.
Yeah,
it's okay.
There you go.
But all right, you want to leave it there? I'm gonna hop on a race in about 5 minutes. I'm gonna go race some trucks at Talladega. Ruin my safety rating.
Well, good luck with that. Yeah, I'd say that's a good spot to wrap it up.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Mr. Josefina's penis is especially small.
Especially small. Like a Joe
Try
Biden
to bomb the hubba.
Japanese is pretty sneaky, right?
Oh, very sneaky.
Like Pearl Harbor? That was pretty
Pearl Harbor sneaky. Oh, God. All right, so we're going to do this again Monday night for sure. Because I don't have row 1, seat 1 for the next 2 weeks because obviously Tuesdays fall on tomorrow, Christmas Eve, and next week, New Year's Eve, and I'm working both of them. So I won't have row 1, seat 1. So this is my only outlet. So I'm going to need this next Monday night.
I'm here for it, man. We can do a year wrap up, like.
Oh, fuck yeah.
We can make some bullet points of like the big things that happened in 2024.
Yeah, I'm with it.
And quick fire those, and then we can bullshit in between,
Which
like
we
we always do.
typically do, because that's to me I feel like the best content. You and I just
Same.
like kind of riffing off each other is funny as fuck. So
Mm-hmm.
not to toot our own horn, but whatever. Fuck you, be bitch. We're funny. Fuck you. Listen.
Exactly. I'll toot it all day.
So, all right, bud. I will talk to you next Monday night.
All right, and yeah,
Thank you
happy
everybody for
holidays,
listening.
Yes.
Merry
thank you, everybody.
Christmas.